Hello, all, and welcome. I'm your not-so-humble Game Master TJ, and this is Dice of Ages presenting CrestVahllen. Campaign 3, C3 is what we like to call it here. Hello, my little intrepid adventurers into the future of a post-apocalypse. How are you doing?
I saw Dan this weekend, and I was like...
Dan?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? You saw Dan
Wait,
this weekend?
he exists?
Get the
He's
hell
real?
out of here.
And I was like, oh, he could come back. And I was like, wait, where the fuck in the future? How would we ever run into him? Fuck.
How is he?
He's good.
Okay.
You good?
What's it down?
Oh, right.
I want to text him. See what's going on. Is he still working in the same place?
Hmm?
Okay, cool. Cool.
He played in our game before you did.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So
He goes to another school. You wouldn't know him.
He goes to another school. You wouldn't know.
Crosstown
This needs to move.
He's our druid up in Canada. You wouldn't know him.
Canadian druid.
So welcome back, guys. Remember what happened last time as far as how we started the game. I have quizzes and questions for you guys, and I distribute some inspirations. And if you have challenges, you can challenge me. Does anybody have a challenge ready and prepared for me? Okay. Oh, look at!
No.
I love how Mally is just in his mind palace through the annals of his memory, just searching through all the ridges of his gray matter, trying to come up with something. Okay, so one of the quizzes I have for you is, how do you spell General Greaves' name?
Is it?
Greaves.
That's correct. Go ahead and take that inspiration.
VMDAC.
It is spelled. It is a play on words like the boots, the armored boots. Not the grief thing,
Oh, I wouldn't have thought
wasn't-
the grief thing. I would have
Yeah.
thought the boots first.
GREIIEVES.
General grief.
I wasn't a dig on you, Mally. I was just like looking at it. I was like, oh, that's a good question.
I already forgot that interaction happened.
Okay. Is this not? It's
Head
close
empty,
enough.
brain smooth.
There we go.
Kinda.
Whoops. Like smooth brain. That's like a new TikTok going around, isn't it?
I mean, I've seen that before, but yeah, I think my sister sent me that.
Like
So-
smooth brains.
You know, smooth, like a little smooth cat brain.
No ridges. No
You're just
ridges
a
or
little orange
bumps or
tabby.
valleys or lumps.
Oh,
All
So
being eaten.
let's do one more quiz. What was the last thing that Elias gave you?
and
I'm not counting the direction into.
was it an egg?
Is that your guess?
Yes.
I'll give it to you unless somebody can be more specific.
He gave us an Arbent seed, but I don't think it was an egg.
Mally should know this because I think he has it.
Oh, it was like a little piece of Elias to plant somewhere.
he put his seed in me.
Yeah. He gave us his healthy seed.
Yes, it is a little. In fact, I have it. I'm gonna go get it for you.
Egg.
Gave
Egg.
us the seed.
I'm gonna run in here and just
I'm
like
so
crack an egg.
confused.
on
How
me.
many people have Elias eggs?
Have what?
Do you have one too? We all have one.
I don't.
That makes sense.
Maeve doesn't want to touch his seed.
I don't think any of us does.
I mean, I was getting to it.
Aw. Look at that.
That is.
That is.
So that is the seed/egg or essence of himself that he gave you. I will give you. Either one of you can have the point. You guys decide among yourselves who wants it.
How many inspirations do you have?
Oh, you sweet, sweet man. You think Maeve has inspirations.
You do now.
There you go. Wonderful.
There you go.
Does anybody have any challenges for me before we move on and do the recap?
Yes.
Okay.
What does rolling a 1 on a Bahostra seed pod do?
Ooh. That's a good one.
Okay. I have how much time? How many seconds do I have?
For this one, you should only have about 30.
I have to
29.
find out where I put it, but I think I know. Okay, so start the timer. Whenever you're ready, you let me know.
And
Gives
Shoot.
you 1 health back.
20 seconds left.
I don't think I have it.
10 seconds left.
Because it was on a thing that I think we were all keeping. I told you guys to keep
3,
track of it.
2,
So you did.
1.
You turned into a puddle.
Beep.
Did I get it? Was that a buzzer beater?
You got it at like just under.
Whoa. I'll give it to you anyway, though, because that was awesome. But I'm just proud of myself that I got it. That was fucking dope. Yes.
Tell me more.
I had, it was like when the adrenaline was just, and I'm like, I'm going to die. This is the end of my life. Then it just went, it's a puddle. Because that was the Alex Mack style. What was the
yeah.
name of the show?
Yeah, it was Secret World of Alex Mack.
The Secret World of Alex Mack.
Yeah, she turned into a mid-90s CG silver puddle.
Yeah, it was like a mercury puddle.
With like low reflection quality.
And sometimes her face would come out of it, like superimposed, like Sirius Black in the fire.
I mean, that was definitely a show that existed, and I remember as much of it as I do any other show from that time period. That is to say, not a hell of a lot.
I remember so much of that show so vividly. I even remember the commercials during like October, during Halloween season, when they would have, because they would have like MCs as part of like, hey, that's the show, come back, that type of thing. Whether it was like the popsicle stick or the square face that was color on like Nick Jr. and everything. And there was a jack-o'-lantern that was like, stay tuned and you'll watch more Alex Mack. And it was this jack-o'-lantern that was like a puppet that was talking, but it was all squished. And they're like, maybe I can get powers like Alex Mack. And they're like, turn into a puddle. Turn into a puddle. And it just fades out always saying turn into a puddle the whole time. And that's what I remember, apparently.
That's very good use of your brain space.
I wish it wasn't there. I wish there were other things there.
Oh.
I wish I could remember what all the Bohoster Seed pod numbers were.
Well, one of them
Who
is
has that document, by the way?
It's on the internet
up
somewhere.
Look at that!
Wow.
That needs to be a shared
Inspiration.
document
See, okay.
somewhere.
I,
Please, thank you.
I joke a lot about it, but I'm just like, okay,
Is
when
that
I was
what you were
like,
searching for this whole time?
when I was like 10, I had the choice
I knew it
of
was written down somewhere.
remember names,
But it's the page
remember
that
every
fell out.
Pokemon. And
So-
for some reason, my brain
Forbidden
still
knowledge.
remembers Pokemon, but cannot remember names to save my life.
Oh, I can do like the Pokemon rap, the last like 25, like
Oh.
Charmeleon, Wartortle,
Okay.
Mewtwo, Tentacruel,
So-
Aerodactyl, Ammonite, Slowpoke, Pidgeot, Arbok. That's all, folks.
Such a jam. No.
So
Drinking
cut
game.
out the first 10 minutes.
They cut it together.
No,
Okay. No, the first 10 minutes, you can just like trim.
we haven't seen
Yeah.
each other in like a month.
Yeah.
Forgive us.
Trim the good
No, I'm-
bits.
I'm
Shorten
talking
it to
to
the
the
good
live
bits.
people that are like, get on with it.
Is this
What were you gonna say?
Wait, are people telling us to get on with it?
Just make it a drinking
deer?
game. How far into the Pokemon rap can you crack?
Or drinking game. Every
Wait, so
time.
what, do you drink if you get it, or do you drink if you don't?
drink
Drink
it.
if someone calls you out on it. And then
Leave. Drink if TJ goes off on a tangent about some media property.
Okay.
You're gonna succumb to alcohol poisoning.
If I die, I die. Y'all are going to have to deal with my corpse.
Every time
got
TJ
the,
makes
uh,
an
Why?
obvious reference.
We've
So
got
die
the
in my
activated
house, I have to deal with your
siphon
fucking
pump.
corpse.
Just
I
toss me in
don't-
a river,
well-
please.
Leaf will have to deal with my
Here.
corpse.
That's true. I'll make sure that you're turned into a...
Majestic. There's no
Actually,
like.
no,
the
it's-
faces
All right.
stand out.
Let's get to it.
Wait,
So-
before we do.
Or a moose.
What else happens after you turn into a puddle?
Like eyes.
I saw
There was a part 2.
moose bit my sister once.
Yeah.
You seep into the ground.
Yes.
It's the
Come on.
It's the opening credits to Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
All right, guys, you ready? It was a reference. Yes, thank you. Get on with it.
Okay,
Get
so
on with it.
where were we at the end of the last session? I seem to recall
Mimic.
Lynn making a great decision.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you guys were underground. You came from the river. You noticed, Len had noticed that something was a little off about this cavern, but couldn't figure out quite what it was. You guys were fiddling with the map, the holographic map. It started beeping at you. Eventually, you stopped it. You had a short rest of sorts. Started fiddling with the holographic map again. Saw some sort of illusion of a Maitan there with some music box music, but were interrupted by a goblin with a terrarium in their abdominal cavity. Talio tried to read the creature's mind, this weird fungal goblin creature's mind, was comatose because their brain got overloaded. Goblin eventually then led them down. Well, after hearing Greaves' voice out of it, being all freaked out about stuff out of the goblin, the goblin led you down to a colony of sorts underground, some sort of refugee tent city in a dome, in a cavern dome. You searched for somebody to help out with the comatose state of Talio, found a gnome individual, was directed towards a gnome individual in like a mushroom hut, very Keebler Elf style, and went to this strange, also fungal weirdo that has a bunch of stuff and junk and attached to them. Talia was strapped into a device. The skull was perforated. There was desire to have a taste of some gray matter. As thanks, you helped pry things off of his back, the gnome's back. It was a small roll-top desk. You opened the roll-top desk. You found 4 boxes. In the boxes, you found a gnarled wooden wand and 3 arrows. One was broken.
Because I opened it too hard.
Yeah, because he opened it with some eldritch blasts.
So anyway,
and some of the
still
magic was
blast.
seeping out of it. They all seemed to be, that was the wooden one, if I remember correctly. And then Len noticed that the furniture in the room was not where it was when you guys entered, went over to the red velvet chair that seemed to have moved, started examining it, and then this zipper maw of jagged teeth appeared and this big tongue came out.
And that's where we are.
That's where we are.
So,
so,
Lynn, how's that chair treating you?
I will need you all to roll for initiative, please.
Yep.
This guy just keeps mimics in his house.
Can we get a layout of what the room looks like for combat?
Yes, we're going to do this theater of the mind because I don't think this is going to last very long, and I didn't want to invest hours of my time creating a map for this. So I would say the woo. Okay, well, we don't need those types of lighting. Just go ahead. The room itself is mostly circular in a fashion, like the inside of the hollowed trunk of a tree, but it's not. It's like the inside hollowed trunk of a big mushroom. The lower level, so like the cap of a mushroom, it's like a loft all the way around. Just imagine if a stereotypical mushroom was just hollowed out. So there's a stairwell that goes up to the second level that's just a loft that's circular all the way around, kind of museum style. And the center is the lounge/lobby area, and that's it. That's pretty much the layout. There's furniture on the ground here. There's some rugs. There is a fireplace with a chimney that's all jagged that goes up. It's kind of a stovetop, high iron metal. There is a banister that goes around the second floor, except for where 2 stairwells go up. Everything's kind of asymmetrical. It's almost like it attempted to be symmetrical, but it wasn't created by a construction, architects. It was created by someone who's kind of threw stuff together. It was like, Hag Hut, that kind of deal. So there is a red velvet chair nearby. There is a love seat, a patchwork love seat. There is an ottoman that also appears to have like red velvet with the gold buttons in it, like 4 gold buttons in it, so it may create that pleated kind of pattern. There is a screen that is kind of like a dressing screen that's kind of mostly folded up near the fire. And there's also a miniature version of one of those that prevents all the coals from popping out of the fireplace. That's in front of that. There is a small table meant for maybe could fit 4 people if they were all about the gnome's size, with 4 stools around it. All of them appear to be somewhat off kilter, none super symmetrical. The table appears to be made out of maybe wood, you're not sure. There are 2 bookcases on opposite sides of the room. Also, kind of the shelves are not perfectly parallel with the bottom of it. They're kind of like slanted, either on either side of the room. One's right next to the front door, and one is about catty corner from the fireplace. And that's about it. The rest of the space is taken up by a bunch of like cluttercore, cottagecore fungal core type things hanging from the ceiling, dried fungus, dried mushrooms, dried herbs, dried leaves, and there's like a chiffero with a bunch of just knickknacks and very like I collect all the stuff from all my shit, and then the rest of the first floors is occupied by the bottom parts of the landing for the for the 2 stairwells. That's it. You can see up on the banister on the 2nd floor other pieces of furniture and like what appears to be like a ribbon bioluminescent lighting that gives this whole interior kind of a soft yellow glow. But there perhaps could be a bed, maybe a dresser. There looks like there may be like a reading nook. There also looks like the kitchen is up there as well.
All right.
But actually, that's actually a very good point. What looks at first glance, what had looked like a kitchen, does have items that aren't kitchen items in it. And the kitchen, from what you can see, because it's a weird angle, doesn't look like it's been used. Because there's just too much stuff. Like there's books on top of what would be the stove. It doesn't make any sense. It looks like it's being used as storage.
This week on Hoarders.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Not like too, it's not like, you can still step around, but it's, most of the clutter is pushed up against the walls in stuff. But yeah.
Okay.
It's very hodgepodge, mishmash feng shui.
Is it like? You said we're in the circular part. Is that like?
That's the first floor where you walked in.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry. You mean the second floor, the
that's-
loft?
Are we in the loft then?
No, you're in the bottom. You
was.
came in from the door. The drawer was at the bottom of the trunk of the mushroom. If like, this was the mushroom.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You came in through the front of the mushroom and you walked in, and you're in the hollow trunk part of it, where
Okay.
there's like the lounge, and then the stairs go up into the loft, 2nd floor area, under like where the bell of the
And is it like
cap.
Was it like very cozy? Are we all kind of condensed, or is it like?
Oh,
20
right. So
foot
the
diameter?
radius, I'd say the diameter here is about a 40-foot diameter bottom here, which is
This is a
still,
very
you know,
large mushroom.
yeah, it's a very large mushroom. It's 40-foot diameter. With that is from wall to wall. With all the clutter, it's more like a 30 diameter because there's just kind of stuff pushed up against the wall. So if you went like up in the trunk, you'd get more of a 40 diameter, but it's a little bit more because there's a bunch of stuff here. So,
All right. You need initiatives then?
yes, initiatives, please, and then somebody keep track, please. I have.
Okay.
I'll keep track.
You'll guys find out when the other ones go. So 25 to 20. Not 15 to 20.
15.
17.
19.
Okay, so Len, Osfer, then Maeve. 10 to 15.
11.
11.
13
Okay, so the Bast, then
to Leo.
to Leo. Okay, so up first, 19. Well, you got a 19. Who got a 19? Len, you got a 19. Okay, I think actually, here's the deal. You're the only one in this combat who's not surprised. Everyone else is surprised for the first round is suffering from the surprise condition because they have no idea that this is happening. You're the only one that's like investigating and saw all the teeth. So you can go.
Okay. I'm gonna. Now this dude is in front of me, so it's just kind of like.
It's a red velvet chair. It's a red velvet chair that the cushion opened up and there's a bunch of jagged teeth and a tongue came out from where the spring should be. And
It's
kinda
like right
curled
next
up.
to me.
Your face is like inches from the teeth
Okay.
because you were looking at it and it just opened up right in front of your face.
I'm gonna disengage and then just run to the other side of the room.
Okay. Is
And
that
then
your
bo-
action to disengage?
Yeah, and then bonus action, I'll put my mark on it.
You got it. You got it. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. Okay. So, action disengage. As you're running, you do see the love seat and the velvet stool split open as well. And teeth and tongues come about. You did take the disengage thing. They do kind of try to whip you with their tongues and stick it to you, but you're just doing the moves and wibbling wobbling to the side, run up against the bookcase that's near the entrance kind of mudroom area, the just entryway, bang into it, and then cast Hunter's Mark on the red velvet chair. Right?
Yeah. Well, I use my fire mark thing.
Oh, right. Your thing.
Yeah.
Yep. I think you have just a little bit more movement left, but if that's where you want to be.
I'll just get behind something like if there's like an overturned table or something like that.
There isn't. Do you want to overturn the table?
If there's like,
The table is less than, well, it's about like 5 feet from you in like a diagonal.
yeah, sure.
Okay. The small wooden table that's a bit of a runner. You want to try to flip over. It's not heavy. Well, just roll an athletics check for me, just for shits and giggles.
Okay. It's 21.
21. Yeah, you just handily
smashed the
grab it
tip.
with one hand. You kind of hit the one edge, and the legs aren't all the way on the corners. They're a little bit farther in. So you hit the one edge, and the other side pops up, and you grab it, and you just spin it around to make it like a shield. And as you do, leaning it up against the bookcase to kind of make it like a lean-to that you kind of hide under. As you do, you see two of the stools go, and their tops pop off as they're just going with like Canadian-style chompers, like South Park Canadian style. So that's your turn.
All right.
Who's got 17, right? Okay, so you're surprised, so you don't do anything, but you know at the end of your turn, you're no longer surprised. So you can still take reactions after your turn happens. That make sense?
Cool.
Then someone was 15.
Maeve.
Same thing for you. Same thing for everybody, pretty much.
Yes.
But so I have to go through. Okay, so Red Velvet Chair is going to go. Red Velvet Chair, you see, it's very Beauty and the Beast, moving around as this thing comes up to. Who's the closest? It's going to be. It's not going to be.
Would it be Talio?
I was thinking it was going to be Talio, but did you get pried off the rack yet? Or are you still on it?
I don't.
We-
know.
Did you
I'm
help
pretty
open
certain-
some of the
I'm pretty certain
boxes?
we brought-
Okay, so then you're off. Yeah, you're off of it. I remember you grabbing one and just smashing it. So you're behind the dude. You didn't even go anywhere to do this. You just grabbed one of the boxes off of the roll top desk after Len pulled it open, and you just smashed it. So Maeve's probably the closest to this thing. So it's going to come over to
it's
you.
Fine. Yeah. Sure.
I know.
Because oh no, you used your
I think
unbreakable needle.
Yeah, I pickpocketed
That's
it,
right.
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I picked it.
I used
I want to say it
comprehend
was. I think Bass.
You used what?
comprehend languages.
To read the infernal that was on. Right. Correct.
Bass definitely smashed one.
I blasted it.
You blasted it.
Yes.
Len
I
was
broke
going to be
one.
the. You guys are
Like I
kind
broke
of
one.
equidistant from this thing, so it's just gonna.
Oh, just pick one.
Yeah.
If you attack me, you attack me.
1 to 5 is you. 5 to 10 is, and it's 7, so it's gonna be you anyway. So.
That's fine. Hit me, I can take it.
Okay, it's going to try to smack you with its tongue.
Ew.
That is a 15 to hit you.
Miss.
Miss. Okay, you just in time at the second you hear some sort of like nasty moist mouth movement, like slurping and sloshing. Your instincts are like, ew, I don't like that, and you just kind of instantly go into a fetal position of just like, no, sensory, no, and the tongue just comes right over you, and then you notice, oh, I'm in combat, and so it misses you,
Oh.
and then you're able to turn around and see it. It's worse. It tries to whip at you again, and it misses as you just kind of lean back and get yourself upright, draw your bow and arrow. That's who's next. That would be you then. Then so your turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well. No, I thought you said we were all like frozen.
Right. You're still surprised. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys rolled the same initiative, so it kind of happens all at the same time.
Oh,
so it
okay.
makes sense that you would do that. Okay. So that brings us to
13
Bast.
moves.
Correct. You again just do the whole surprise thing.
Yep.
Right after your turn, both the stools go. The stools are going to get on either side of you, Len, and try to like ankle bite, gnaw at your knees. These are just one attack for each of them. One was a 17, the other was a 12.
Miss.
Both miss. As you snap the legs off of the table and just put them in each mouth, like the toothpick move in like the big monster. You just take a stick and go like, and they're just stuck open.
Okay.
That is your turn.
Talia
And
was
their
11.
turn. You're 13 and you're at 11.
I'm 11,
So what's your dexterity score?
Dexterity score is 2. Score?
Your
or
score, not
15.
your 15. Okay, so you go first.
Okay. I'm surprised, but I have reactions now.
Yeah.
What are these things?
Well, furniture
What the
doesn't move
heck?
too fast.
Okay, what does the surprise to Leo look like? Does his fur go all?
Surprise to Leo moments after being recapacitated from a
Yes,
comatose
please.
state.
Tell me what a surprise to Leo looks like.
Honestly, surprised to Leo is like very momentarily surprised, like the wide-eyed, and then just, oh no, we're just doing this again. This seems very typical for the past week. And then as soon as that thought hits, I'm no longer surprised, and my turn is over.
Yep.
the heck's going
Right,
on?
and then it's your turn, and then you get reactions, though. You can do
do.
your reactions.
Which is very important for me.
The rest of the furniture goes now. They did not roll very well. The love seat is going to try to... The love seat's over a little bit to the left if you're looking from the door. So, Talia, you're actually the closest to the love seat. This die keeps rolling the same thing. That is a 20 to hit you.
Hits.
That hits. Okay, so you get smacked in the back of the shoulder and the shoulder blade by this very heavy kind of frog's tongue that has the heavy weight at the edge of the tongue, the end of it, rather than the top, and it just sticks to you. You do take 5 points of bludgeoning damage as this thing smacks into you, and you are grappled by this thing, meaning you cannot move, as it then kind of pulls itself close to you to be right up next to you. And then it's going to try to, as you see the love seat peel open, the whole cushion, just when some of those couches have like the whole rectangular cushion, one big cushion rather than a bunch of smaller cushions, it just kind of peels up and goes almost at a right angle as the back legs of it pop up, and it is going to try to go over you and just close and eat you in one bite.
Okay.
We're gonna see if it hits you. So you just see this thing peel up and then pop up, and drippy saliva, and this thing is trying to close on you entirely, where the tip of its mouth would be right below your soles of your feet. That is a 15 to hit you.
I'm gonna cutting words.
Okay, yeah, you have your reaction back, yeah.
My reaction.
Woo!
Oh boy.
It also rolled the same initiative, but it has a lower dexterity.
Is that's
That's
cocked. That's cocked. That's not really.
Roll in the
cocked,
tray.
that's
You have a
cocked.
tray right before you
I
do it.
do. That's good enough. That's a 3. It takes it down below my AC.
It does, yes. So, what do you say to it?
I don't even.
Just moans of pain.
Just inarticulate frustration. No.
Somehow, through your vernacular and your lexicon of grunts, displeasure of groans and moans, this thing goes, eh? Like you've almost started speaking its language, and it hesitates for the one fraction of a second, and you just tuck and roll out of the way before the jaws shut. So you're about 5 feet out of it now.
Okay, and I'm still grappled.
Yes, I'll say that you just kind of strafe. It's fine. I'll just flavor you. You're still grappled. Technically, your speed is 0, but it's got its tongue around you, but you kind of just
Shifted.
you
slightly.
fetal positioned as much as you could and just threw your weight in one way so that when it does shut it closes on its own tongue because it's outside of its mouth. So it's going to take a little bit of damage from that. Does it take damage from cutting words, or you
No.
just did it from it only takes 1 point of piercing damage as it bites itself, and you hear it go like a big dog that got hit. So that's its turn. That's all it could do. It does fall back down, but you are still within 5 feet of it.
Okay.
It is then
England.
the velvet stool already went. The velvet chair already went. The 2 bar stools already went. It's the rug's turn. The rug kicks up from you, Bast, as you feel your body shift, and you see some of the tassels start to wrap around your ankles as it tries to envelop you in itself. Please roll a dexterity saving throw for me. 6. You are unable to move as quickly as you thought because things are happening so fast. You were just having a conversation with your friends, and all this happened at once. Maeve squat, and you're like, huh? And then you lose your balance as this thing, the carpet below you begins to wrap around you. And at first you think, who's in here? And you try to spin around, and you don't see anybody else in the room. And that spin causes you to kind of topple, so you fall prone, and this thing begins to wrap around you. You're prone and you're grappled by this thing. You see the top part of the fringe of a sewing, the fringe of a carpet that's sometimes has a little bit shinier type of thread, either a darker thread or a shinier thread that goes around and creates some sort of like cylinder that keeps the edge from fraying. It starts to, as you see a bunch of the threads snap and split, and the bottom part of like the no slip part of the rug and the fabric part of the top, because it's usually in like a lattice, right? It's like a grid of something that all the thread is pushed through. That part's to come apart as it opens up like this, and the part of it just starts to sandworm and go over your head, very similar to how your old familiar used to eat people. And so you're like, so this is what this feels like. And you're going to take some damage from this. That is only 6 points of...
Does it have to bite me?
It's part of the dexterity saving throw is that you do damage and you become prone and grapple. That's like the part of the thing. If you succeed, you only take... It still like gets a nip off of you, and you take half, and you're not prone and grappled. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So you're prone and grappled, and this thing starts to like snake eat you. It is from the head down rather from the waist up or from the legs up. So you can't breathe. It has you in the thing. You are not suffocating yet. You could absolutely hold your breath for a ton of minutes, so you're fine as far as that is concerned. But you're in this thing. That also means that you don't have room to do any vocal components at the moment, but your hands are still, I'd say from like this part of your shoulder down or this part of your shoulder up, you're still free. So you can still do somatic is fine. You could still do material just fine. No big deal. You're just blind and you can't breathe. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage though, and that is all it can do. Yeah, that's all it can do because it did the devour in one turn. So then, at the very bottom of initiative is the gnome, who is in the room still. And the gnome's like, what? No! Guest, it's fine, stop it! And they don't seem to, well, let's find out, actually.
Persuasion.
Every time this goes, so it's easier for him to do this the longer this goes on. Hey, that's pretty good. Okay, who was the person that spoke to the gnome last?
Not it.
I'm trying to remember.
Honestly, probably bad.
It was either Len or Bast, I believe. It was one of you two. Okay, well, Len isn't really there right now because Len ran away and he wasn't surprised. So it would have to be so Bast. You're probably the person that he focuses on first, where he's telling the thing, "Let him go." Let it go. So it lets you go entirely. You're no longer suffocating. You're no longer blind. It just kind of spits you out. You're not like grappled or prone. It doesn't look like it has relaxed as far as being aggressive, but but it was like when you tell your dog, like, spit it out, stop it, don't do it. But the dog's still like, I still want that though, that type of thing. And that's the end of initiative. He does that with his whole turn as he tries to get everybody to calm down. At the top of initiative, the highest of one of you was 19, correct? That was Len? Mm-hmm. Okay, so at initiative 20, the lair action happens. And you see that the fireplace rumbles and grows to twice its size, but not upward, just sideways as it starts to encapsulate far more of the wall that it had before. And the iron grill that holds the logs kind of bends and turns as the flue comes from down up above and forms this makeshift toothy maw face with these two embers that go as there's just, it's very Home Alone in the basement, the furnace, the furnace monster thing, except it's much bigger and it's all metal and stone and iron. As you see the entirety of the mushroom get 5 feet less in diameter. And now the whole mushroom is now only 25 feet in diameter. That's the lair action. Len, it's your turn. You are under a table. You have your hand here and your hand here with the legs in these things' mouths. Just for flavor, you can do whatever you want.
So the place just shrank, you said.
What? Yeah, the place just shrank. Yeah, you got, because you're on the edge of the wall, you got shoved toward. Yeah, you're at the edge. Go ahead and roll a strength saving throw to see if you're not like squished and knocked prone.
It's 19.
19, you're fine. You see that's happening. You let go of the legs. They snap in their mouths. You hold onto the table so it doesn't get pried and stuck into the bottom of the ground and flip and then crush you. So, and you just all slide against, you can feel, because the ground is like dirt and stone, and you just feel your feet sliding and leaving crevasses behind as the walls get smaller. But you're still under the thing. Just the whole thing moved in, and you slid under it with it.
Yeah, since I feel the place getting smaller, I'm going to immediately just book it towards the front door.
Yeah, it's like 10 feet from you. You can just go around the corner. You will provoke from both of the stools, though.
That's fine. On my way, I'm going to try.
You're going to have to push, actually, through one of the stools unless you want to push the table down.
I can push through the stools.
Okay.
You can hop over a stool.
Oh, yeah, I could,
Yeah, you could do either an acrobatics or an athletics.
I could just wall run past them, actually.
You could use to, yes. I think like you're a little confined though, because the table for you to like
Bang my head against something.
You know what? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt this time, but you'll still provoke from both of the stools.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
And I'll try to grab like Maeve's arm and try to like pull her out of the room.
Maeve is on the other side of the room.
Oh.
You ran to the other side of the room.
Okay, so no one's in this generator.
No. Everyone's like more central in the center of the room.
Okay, I'm just gonna shout for everyone that we should head towards the door because this place is gonna crush us.
Yeah, I mean, so the radius is 15. So they're no more than like 10 feet away from you, but you'd still have to get out from where you are because you're engaged. Because the thing has shrunk, like 10, 12 feet away from you.
I'll be waiting for everyone else to. I'm just gonna fight one of the stools then. Wait for everyone else to.
Yeah,
head
you can
towards
do
the
whatever you
door.
like. I was just.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my mark on one of the stools, and I'm just gonna.
You're gonna move it. Can you move it? Could you put it on the velvet chair?
I
already?
can just put on something else. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I'm just gonna try to stab it.
You got it.
It's a nat 1 on my first attack.
So here's what happens. What are you attacking with? The dagger?
Mm-hmm.
So you go to attack with the dagger, and the tongue grabs your wrist as you're coming to stab. Like you give your arm that momentum to stab. And this slime that quickly wraps around your wrist from the tongue causes the friction of you holding the dagger to slip as the momentum of the stab. Dagger slips out of your hand, goes through the air, and hits Talio like right between the shoulder blades in the back, and like very Ace Ventura, like yeah. Go ahead and roll your attack on Talio. Yeah, nat 1.
I didn't mean to. It's a
Fuck.
It's a 6.
Okay.
Ow!
Oh wait, no, that's 7.
Oh no! So your dagger is now
Wait.
just in the back of Talio, about
it's-
like 2 inches in the back of Talio, right, half an inch from Talio's spine.
We have to talk about it. We have to
Ow.
talk about it.
Shit, what was that?
I just don't
See,
say
like the
anything.
ears go up and the tail does that cartoon like thing.
I just
Talio's
don't-
also looking extremely pummeled.
Yeah, Talio's fucked up.
Yeah, there's a lot of
gonna-
blood just coming out of this.
That was
way
your
more
first
than you
attack.
thought.
You said you rolled your second attack already, right?
Second one was 17.
17, that hits. Go ahead.
Okay.
This is on the stool that is closest to the door.
All right, and that's 8, 14
14 damage?
max rolls and everything.
This is with your dagger
dagger and
And
max
mark.
roll on the mark.
and the mark. So you take your dagger and pry it into where the seat of the stool attaches to the legs as this thing tries to bite you, and you just go and pop off the legs entirely and stick your dagger through with the grain of the wood and just split it off, and this thing just starts to shatter into splinters and fall apart. You pulled all the legs. A bunch of the things that keep a stool together is the tension with the legs, and if it doesn't have like nails and screws in it, it's the wood pegs and the holes that keep it together. So you just pry it out and make it so that that leverage and that tension isn't there anymore, and it just turns into a bunch of sticks, and the top, and you see the top seat does go like a Mueller's disc that's not quite stopping, and it's just but it won't. But it's no threat to you anymore.
Okay,
It's
cool.
not really a creature anymore.
Feel a little bad. I just walked into the guy's house and destroyed his furniture. and stabbed
My
Talio.
stool!
So it's a bonus action. I'm gonna send healing word at Talio.
Okay, you got it. Oh, I have a question. Does it cost you a bonus action to move your Slayer's mark?
Actually, yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, never mind. Sorry. It's your problem.
You just stabbed him in the back and then said it's his problem. Okay, so 17, right?
Yes.
That's your turn, right?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Am I near anything?
You are. Everyone else is being assaulted by one of these like mimic creatures, but you're not. You have not been. You can be anywhere in the center. You're probably right next to the gnome.
Okay, and that's not where the walls are crushing.
No. The only person that's anywhere near the wall is Len and the stools.
But like is it one part of the house that the walls are collapsing?
It is a circle, a cylinder, like the trunk of a
So
tree,
it's
like
the
the trunk of a
entire
mushroom.
room.
The whole the diameter of the whole trunk has decreased by 5 feet.
Okay.
So 2.5 on each side.
Okay.
You know, like the diameter of the circle has decreased.
Okay. I'm gonna, ask our gnome friend, like, what the heck is happening?
They're just a little excited. They saw you. What looks like hurt. It doesn't matter. Just calm down.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot the one that's messing with Bast.
Okay, cool. The one that let go of Bass, the rug.
Wait, no, that one's calm, pacified now.
It still looks like aggressive, but it's like I said, it's like that dog that it dropped the thing that you told it to drop,
Yeah.
but it still wants that thing.
Yeah.
Talio's literally still grappled by one, so that
Yeah.
would be the one that's the most dangerous.
It's like you
Okay.
grab the tennis
Then I'm-
ball,
yeah.
and if you put the tennis ball back, it would grab it.
I'm gonna shoot the one that's grappling Cleo.
Oh, the love seat. Yeah, you got it.
Bonus action.
It's one of those like lounge love seats, like the part that it comes up on the one side, very Cleopatra style love seat.
Bonus action Kensei mark.
You got
Kensei
it.
shot. Sorry.
Mhm.
Okay.
Technically, you are engaged with the rug because you're 5 feet from the rug and it is still somewhat hostile. But I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt which would impose disadvantage on this. But I'm actually not gonna do that right now because right now because it's flat. No, but I'm not gonna do
Shoot
it.
over it.
No, it's just that you're being harried by something. I'm not going to do that for this shot and this shot only because the gnome took its turn to calm it down.
Okay.
So, but on its turn, it could very well become like fully hostile again.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool.
One of these shots probably hit. 16.
16 to the love seat?
Yeah, the one
Yes.
that's grappling.
Yes.
Okay. Then that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage.
10 damage.
And I'm assuming that
So you go ahead.
9 does not hit.
A 9 does not hit. No.
Okay.
And that was your 2 shots?
Yep.
Okay. So you take a moment, exhale, draw the bow, put your Kensei key energy into the shot, and you line it up so that when the love seat is facing you the long way, and you line it up so that the threads that attach the leather edging that attaches to the wood is perfectly parallel, very Odysseus shooting through the eyes of Axis style. So the edge of the arrow you see in slow motion turns and just razor cuts all of those threads in one bit so that it's like you split the bottom of its lip off of an entire side of it. As it goes, and it's fucked up. You see a bunch of like purple squirt come out. Like, oh no, I'm gonna have to reset. It's okay, calm down. That's your shot. Are you gonna move or you wanna stay where you are?
Yeah, I'm gonna move. I'm assuming I don't provoke opportunity because the rug is pacified right now.
Yes, because it's not threatening you.
I would like to move as close to the door as possible.
Cool. There is a 5-foot pathway from, consider it like a 5-foot square mudroom that is not the wall, but just the door.
Yes. That's where I want to go.
And the stool lends stool. So, and no matter who goes towards the door, if they go, if you're in that mudroom area, that 5-foot square, you're diagonally. Well, no, because you got rid of it. You killed it. So yeah, no, you won't provoke anything. Cool. You can get into that mudroom. You want to open the door and keep going because it's not that far. You can keep going.
I'm gonna open the door and yell, "Let's get out of here." And that's it.
Okay, cool. The door opens inward, but yeah, that's fine. You can open the door and stand there. You still have extra movement. Totally fine. Cool. That will put you then, if you're standing, because the door itself is, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You can just be there. You will be very, very, very close to Len, who's under the table.
Cool.
Well, yeah, no, he kept the table over him. So that's 17.
15.
15.
Right. The love seat bill goes before
Chair.
you. The chair.
Goes after her. Right after.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh no. The velvet stool goes first before her. Then the.
Sure.
No, I'm sorry.
The stools
got it
went
written down.
after me.
Not the wooden stools. The velvet stool.
You have it written down. What do you
I don't-
have?
The velvet.
There were only 4 that went. Or 5 technically because it was both stools.
The love seat, the velvet chair, the
The
rug,
chair,
and the 2 stools. You're right.
Chair, the stools, the love seat, and the rug.
Right. Right, because
That's all that went.
the velvet stool is missing a leg, so it can't move. So it's just there snarling on the ground. You can't.
And one of the stools is gone.
Yeah, that wasn't one that was damaged. It was just a
Yeah.
piece of furniture. Yeah, it was just it was janky furniture. So it's just like, I'm participating. So, yes, the love seat goes right after you.
No, the original chair.
I'm sorry, the velvet chair,
Yes.
the high top velvet chair goes right after you.
Correct.
Then
Okay.
Maeve, the
the
chair.
love seat goes right after you.
The love seat and the rug go after me.
Yes.
Yes.
And the stool
The
goes
stools
after
go
Bastion.
between Talia and I.
Okay. So
Sorry.
he shot an arrow and the couch is still there though, the love seat.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's damaged.
I yell at Osfer. Arrows and stitching are my thing. And I run over to the love seat and I pull out my sword It sticks a bit from disuse.
You will provoke from the velvet chair if you run over to the love seat. You
Oh,
only
it
have to
was-
move 5 feet, but you will provoke.
Oh, it's that close to me.
Yeah, you guys are all in the center, and the thing has gotten
Fair.
smaller and
It
smaller.
tried to eat you.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
There's only from the center. There's only 12.5 feet to either side. At this point.
Okay. I'd forgotten that one was that close. Sorry to Leo.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
because the walls were 40.
I pull out my short sword, and I look at the one that tried to eat me for a second.
The high top velvet chair.
Yeah, and I would like to use a bonus action to see if I can tell where it's like stitched, or where it's stitching its
Is
weakest.
that ability that you have, or
No, but Maeve has such a background in sewing. I figured she could see a bad stitch job if she saw one.
You want to pull some shenanigans? Yeah,
Yes.
sure. Go ahead and roll a textile check. I'll say this is your. You can have proficiency with this.
I mean, it would be like what, perception?
It would be either. I would say this would. It's a
Wisdom-based.
skill. It's a skill. So, like, as far as something that you have trained so far doing.
Wisdom with proficiency.
Yeah, I guess that would just be. Yeah, I'm okay with perception. Yeah, so wisdom with proficiency. Yeah.
I mean, I rolled a nat 1 anyway.
Oh, no.
So I'm beginning to think that sewing is not my forte.
I think what you see
We've
is
all
that
just been super
you see all
nice
the
to you about it.
you see all the
looks
damage
great.
that Osfer had did to it. And you see all these fray threads, and you're noticing just how nice the material of the fray thread is. And you have a little crisis there for a moment. You're like, oh no.
I don't actually want to break this. I do want to use the cloth though.
It's a very well. That was the love seat, the chair. But yeah, the chair is like it's still very nice. This is real velvet.
Yes. Okay, well, I still attack it with my sword.
You're like, oh, stab.
9.
9.
You can attack twice, right? Don't you get?
Yeah, you do get 2 attacks.
Yeah, that one is very missed.
I think you go just half-hearted. Oh, I don't want to on the first one.
that one was 25.
Oh yeah, and then you're like,
So. Yeah, no, I didn't want to have that moment of crisis. Like, no, I can't. No, yeah, I don't want to die.
you go full DEA officer searching the cushions for drugs.
Yeah, just short sword. All right. 7 damage.
7 points of
Yeah.
damage. Yeah, you and carve a right angle into the cushion, and rather than cotton and stuffing coming out and being able to see springs, it's organs that pile out of this thing. You see intestines kind of flop out as you and like purple ichor and blood kind of pours out over the side across the tongue and the maw as you pretty much just seppuku'd this thing. It's still alive, but it is hurting.
How do y'all deal with the blood on your weapons? It's filthy. My sword's just dripping this
You're like,
goo.
ew, and Talio's over
Ew.
here dying, getting stabbed by Len. Okay, that is then the chair's turn. The chair is very mad that you did that and is going to try to hurt you.
See, I would just lick the blood off.
Jeez. All the blood is in its face. It doesn't have eyes, but just can't see. It tries to whip at you with your tongue as you're like, ew, and you dodge out of the way. It doesn't unable to do that. It will try to bite you. 14.
No.
Just can't. It's too much. It's slipping on its own blood. It's the wooden legs are just going and aren't able to really get any purchase. That's your turn, Talio.
It is Sebastian's
Yeah.
turn.
Oh, I'm
My
sorry.
turn.
Yes, that's right.
I'm going to disengage and run out the door.
So it's you, then the rug, then you, then the love seat.
No, me, then the
Stool.
stools.
Then me.
Then
I
the
feel
love
like
Leo.
if
And
you were the
then
one
the
that
rock.
would keep track of the initiative.
This is why I don't want to do it anymore.
Love seat and rug go at the very end.
Got it. How about you guys just tell me when it
That's-
goes up? Thank
That's
you.
a great
Yes.
idea.
I'm gonna stop guessing.
I'm
Nobody
going
tell him
to
whenever the enemy's
take defensive action and run out the door. disengage.
Oh, you're gonna disengage and just run out the door? Yeah, you can get there. You'll get like 10 feet out the door.
Yeah.
Take
So
it with you.
behind me,
Bass just says "fuck this" and just leaves.
behind me, the tentacle is gonna come out of the floor, and it's gonna whip the love seat.
Okay. You want to put it over to the left a little bit? Okay.
16 on the die, which I'm sure is gonna hit. Where's my attack? Plus 7. So yeah, 24, 23 to hit.
23. Absolutely, yeah.
10 damage, cold damage to the love seat. Which was already pretty much.
Yeah, I
gone.
mean, I don't think you see this too. I think you
No.
just summon it and you run away.
I tell it to free to Leo. and
The rest
run
of
out
you
the
see
door.
this big old kind of tentacle thing go very pull back and then right on this thing. The weight of the tentacle just hits the love seat right on top and just taps it and causes all of 4 legs just buckle and crack outwards and break. So it just gets smashed down, and there's this imprint, like if you sit in a chair for every day for like 6 years, of this tentacle just in the cushion, this depression, and you just and this stops moving.
Thank you.
And so the tongue just laxes.
Relaxes. So I'm not grappled.
You're no longer grappled.
Wonderful. Thank God.
And now the stool.
You're like, no, not Levy!
The one stool that's still behind Levy.
There's a wooden stool, and
stool.
the velvet chair is still alive, and the rug is still alive.
Correct.
Yes.
And the fireplace.
Yeah, the fireplace is, you'll find out. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's this too.
Just the
The wooden stool,
wooden
correct.
stool.
The wooden stool, the closest thing to it is Osfer. No, Len,
Len.
you're still right. Yeah, you're still there because you haven't moved.
The one that was nearest the door is the one that Len killed.
Uh-huh.
So the one behind him.
That was cocked. That's a nat 1. It tries to chomp at you and accidentally chomps the hand that has your dagger in it. So it kind of perforates the top, the roof, the palate of its mouth, as you see like the wood, and it's like coated in wood as its epidermis, but everything else is fleshy. So you hear as it tries to let go. It's like stuck on your arm for a second as you try to get it off, and it finally falls off. Does do some damage to it. It does 2 points of damage to it. But yeah, it wasn't able to hit you.
All right. Now
That-
to Leo.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh,
2 questions. So the first one is, I'm not being grappled. If I run to the door, do I take any opportunity attacks? From where I'm at right now.
No. No, because you can, if you just take an extra 10 feet, you can circumvent the chair.
Then I'll do that. I'll use all 30 speed of my movement and get as far away as possible.
Bast and Cleo just go out the door.
Oh my god, I'm so hurt, bastard.
Later,
You have no
nerd.
idea I'm barely clinging on right now. My head is killing me. I turn around and I will use Vicious Mockery on the... Which one's
You
attacking
can't
me?
see when you're outside, but I'll say this: you can do this as you're exiting.
As I'm
yeah.
exiting, yeah, I'd like turn around right as I enter the door.
chair.
Which one's the one that's attacking Maeve?
The chair.
The velvet chair, the high top velvet chair.
Okay, then I Vicious Mockery
Very
the
like
rug.
the villain chair.
The rug must make a wisdom saving throw.
The chair must make a
No,
wisdom.
the rug.
You want to do it to the rug or the,
rug.
chair?
The rug, yeah, the rug.
The rug. The,
Yeah.
the rug isn't attacking anybody right now. The rug.
Oh, it's pacified. That's right. Yeah, I'll do it to the chair.
It goes
Sorry. I'll do it to
soon,
the chair.
right?
It goes next.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes next.
Yeah, but it was pacified. I'll do it to the chair. The chair. Yeah.
Okay. That is a 14.
My spell save DC is a 14.
Okay, so it saves. So it doesn't do anything.
That's
It's a cantrip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I have the +1, but no, but we're not. I didn't use that weapon, so no, then nothing.
Okay. That's your turn. What do you say as your vicious mockery as you're trying to get out? Because you fumble over it.
Yeah. I'm like trying to think of something that Maeve wouldn't say.
No,
Stupid as you run out the door.
no. Say what Maeve would say.
What Maeve would say? Oh,
Your furniture is tacky.
the tassels
and
are
I
so
can't
gaudy.
lift
You
it.
really don't need them. Get rid of them. God.
Is that pyrite tassels?
See, whenever you're doing vicious mockery, channel Maeve.
Okay, so that is then
No.
the rug's turn. Then
The rug's turn.
the rug is gonna
Feel bad,
see
it's not
if it
funny.
wants to pursue or not.
Stop taking all my jokes, see.
You see the gnome like, no, no, no. You see like the rug trying to like snake, like trying to get by. No, no, no. Like doors open. Don't let the cat out. And the cat just ran out. Oh, that's really funny. Yeah, no, the rug just stays in non-hostile.
Now the gnome's turn.
Now it's the gnome's turn. The gnome's going to try to calm them all down again. That's even better than the last one. The was like, stop it! Stop it! No! 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 And looks at the stool and looks at the velvet chair. And they both go like... The velvet chair has tried to attack you and is heavily injured. A flap of its skin like peeled off. You can see seppuku style, right angle, just a whole dog ear pulled off, organs falling out, and it's like, oh, fine, okay, it almost killed me, and it starts to back away a little bit. You do get an attack of opportunity on it if you want to.
Oh, I will stab it.
Okay, it's no longer hostile to you.
Good.
It won't be hostile.
He's
to
like,
me
don't
because
hurt them,
it's
and it starts to
dead.
back away and goes like, no, fuck you.
Yeah,
like,
so
brazen
attack for
hatred.
opportunity. I don't think I've tried to.
It's
I don't
just
think
a
I've had
regular
some-
attack, one attack.
Okay, so I do get to attack it.
It
though.
has to be melee though.
Okay, yeah, I got my sword out already anyway, so blop. Let's see. So I just do straight damage.
You have to hit.
I have to roll for hit still. Okay, that's what I was wondering. 19.
That hits. Jesus.
Yep. So that
Fuck this
is
furniture
a 10 damage.
10 damage. So you lunge and just slice across it, and the high top part where it has does the shoulders and then the curve, the arch on the top, you just cut those off completely as the wood in the back still hinges, so it just falls backwards as if you behead it, but there's a tiny
does
bit
it-
still attached.
Oh, I was hoping it would do the "you're already dead."
Yeah, you can cut it at an angle
Yeah.
like that, and it kind of flops off, and then it just... No! Ow! Oh! Darn it!
Lair action.
Yes, now the fireplace. Back at the top, the fireplace is very angry that you just killed one of its family members. And you see it stretch even further to be now half of the circumference of the entirety of the bottom part of the room. It's stretching that much all the way across. And it is extremely angry. It's also really hot in here now, guys. It's very, 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 very hot. This coming round, everybody's gonna have to roll a Constitution saving throw for how hot it is. Like 120 degrees in here now. Unless you have resistance to fire,
Or outside.
or you're outside, that's fine. Yeah. And it gets 5 feet smaller. Well, I need to double check because it's very angry. Yeah, 5 feet smaller. So it's only a 20-foot diameter now. This thing is extremely angry. The flames start licking parts of the interior, coming out as if the gassing off and exhaust getting igniting. And you just hear the sounds of what it sounds like when a furnace starts up or a flamethrower starts up, that sputtering of gas keep coming from this wood and cast iron metal janky fireplace. Then it's 19, Len. You are up against the wall, luckily on the opposite side of the one part of the circumference where the fireplace is, because it was on the opposite side of the room. But you realize that if you stay next to this wall any longer, you could very well be engulfed in fire very, very soon.
Pretty cool.
Speaking of which, you two are outside,
Yep.
right? You see as this happens, because you can only really see you guys looking back through the doorway.
Yep.
So you just see like the small keyhole version of like the doorway to see only what you can see through the doorway of the room. You do see the at least partially thing to, and as you do, you see the whole building kind of like heave and sigh and get smaller. The whole building, the whole mushroom building, kind of like quakes and moves and squirms.
Okay.
Len, you don't really notice that.
What enemies
You're
are
not-
still alive? There's a stool and the rug.
Yep, the stool that bit your dagger,
The wooden stool.
and the rug that was pacified last round, but I don't know what it's.
Yeah, everything was vindictively killed.
I'm sure everyone can just run out when the turn rolls around, so I'm just gonna.
You will provoke from the stool.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm gonna kill the stool.
Okay.
then run out.
Yeah.
Come into this guy's house, he
this
saves
must
you, and then
be-
just you kill all his furniture.
This must be what Link experiences when he goes into houses and just
Yeah, it just breaks pots.
everything.
Honey, just don't look. Don't say anything. He's just gonna break all our pots, and then hopefully he'll leave.
There were really mimics. He was probably just defending himself.
Yeah.
I was an 11 and a 12.
The way he
for
just
my
does it
attacks.
like this too, in a straight face.
Fuck your shit.
Go ahead.
He doesn't. He doesn't even talk though. He's just like,
Yeah, he just.
It was an 11 and a 12 for both my attacks.
A 12 just hits the
Oh,
stool.
Okay.
Yeah, a wooden stool mimic doesn't have a very high AC.
Okay. And that's 8.
8 damage?
Max roll.
Jesus. You
just
don't
a
even.
D4.
You were like about to stab this thing, and he said, "You're not worth it." You put your dagger away, and you just grab the one of the legs of its stool, and it's like tries to gnaw at you, and you just kick the top off, and it all falls apart, and then you just toss very nonchalantly as you walk out of from under the table. Just toss one of its legs over your back. Like I don't look at explosions.
And then I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna just hold the door open for the others.
You leave. You put your sunglasses on. You hold your doors for the others. Yeah, pretty much.
I love that.
Oscar's up.
Yeah, I leave too.
I'm trying to think of a stool pun.
well, we can take
Well,
part
if
of it
you're
with
talking-
us.
No.
Like
We
I
can-
guess you could say I have a stool sample as each throws the leg behind it. Perfect.
I
Hey.
leave the house.
Did you not already leave? Oh, you were
He
holding the
stayed in
door.
the
Oh,
doorway.
so Len said I got it, and you run out. Cool. That it? Are you guys staying? How far are you guys staying from the doorway?
Like,
I was
10,
max
15 feet.
out.
Like 15 feet, 10 feet? What?
Firmly
away.
out of the house,
10
but
feet?
like
20.
close enough I can react.
You're
I've
just
got
like
40 feet.
huddling there, so you can still see through the doorway, but like
Not everyone's out.
fresh air, out for a smoke type of
I
distance.
know.
Okay.
At the
So,
moment,
so
for
Leo's
now.
behind me, making sure that like nothing that comes out of would hit
I understand.
him.
Closer. Yes, I understand. So all three of you
Yeah.
are out now. Did you want to do anything else, or are you just running out there?
I would
Because
just
that takes
yell-
you like 15 feet of your movement. That's it.
Yeah, I would just yell to Maeve, like, it's time to go.
Point of order. Constitution saving throws.
Yes, you started your turn inside, so you have to roll that. Yeah. And Len, you too.
It's not super great. 7.
7. You get a point of exhaustion, my dude. As you you're used to the thin, cold, chilly, bitter air of the temple up on the mountaintop. This is oppressive heat. This is extremely oppressive heat because flames are actually licking at parts of your body, or you feel the waves of heat and blasts of a furnace before you exit. What it means is that you have disadvantage on ability checks until you get rid of it. Len, what'd you get?
10.
10. That's also a failure. You also have disadvantage on ability checks. Also doesn't feel great, but you do feel a similar sensation of what it was like when you were red-blooded, warm-blooded, not a plant, not a vampiric entity, not some sort of amalgamation of the two.
Some of the leaves on my body like wilt a little bit.
Yeah. Your brick. Do you still have your brick?
Yeah.
I think we got rid of most of it.
Most of it. But you still got
These
some.
are
So, like,
your
just a
shoulder
little
brick.
bit,
Yeah,
just a little
yeah,
bit of
it's
the
like
brick
part
now.
of it just it's so dry, like the clay gets brittle. Some parts of it crumbles off. And then both of you leave. Right.
You two look like shit.
So we've got Osfer, Len, and Bass that are outside, correct?
Talio's
Talio.
outside.
And Talio. So the other person that's left
His man.
is Maeve. who said, no, I'm going to kill this fucking chair. She killed it, and then she had movement, and she didn't move, so she just stayed there.
No, she killed it on her opportunity attack.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
correct. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Go ahead.
Okay, so is it my turn?
We're 1917.
The only mimic that's still alive is the rug, and that's all the way to the end. So yes.
Yeah, so it's your turn. Yeah.
Okay. I run, jump, do a flying dive with my sword at the rug. Your stitching is slightly off center and the pattern is tacky. And I stab at it.
I thought you were a fighter, not a barbarian.
She's Xeno
Overcome
warrior
with
princess.
battle lust, I must kill the furniture.
What can I say? I have thread lust.
Okay.
I want to attack this rug.
You have textile rage.
Yes.
It's the war of the craft room.
I mean, regardless, I rolled 21 to hit it.
I mean, you hate it. What do you want to do to this thing?
6 damage.
6 damage. Okay,
why I
so it's
wanted to
not
throw
dead,
it.
but you do.
Take a thread.
Can I
ripper
can I
and
attack a
start
second time, right?
Yeah. Are you swiping at it or are you shooting at it?
No, I'm attacking with a dagger. With my not dagger,
Your
short sword.
Okay,
You
yeah.
can-
So you run up to it and hit it.
you
Yeah,
can
you have a
attack
second
twice.
attack if you want to.
She's a fighter.
Yeah, that's another 15 to hit.
15 hits. Yes. What's up?
Wait.
What?
Another.
What?
Yes.
Are you gonna cutting words, Maeve?
Yeah, I'm going to.
So that you don't destroy all of this guy's friends and
Furniture,
family
yeah,
and furniture?
I feel so bad.
Yeah, they're clearly past the point where they're attacking us anymore.
Yeah.
Except for the fireplace.
I just look at Maeve.
Passively.
Your form was absolutely terrible on that last dive attack. I
Saw a
can't
bunch of
believe
other
you.
its
Get
family
out
like,
of
no,
there.
fuck
This
you,
key
get out of
is
here.
destroying you. Did you roll your?
There's still one of you in
Constitution
there.
saving
It's
throw?
like, get the
okay.
fuck out.
Right. Heat Constitution throw. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
18.
18 is a success.
I roll my sleeves up a bit.
And you lose 5
Tie your hair up in a ponytail,
Five what?
off of your last attack roll.
Okay. Well, I
which
still
brings
hit
it to a 10. 15 brings that down to the 10, which is not a hit.
Oh, to hit.
Yeah, you can take it off the
Damn
hit.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what do you say to Maeve to make her miss?
Your form was absolutely terrible on that last dive attack. That heat is getting to you. Get out of there.
A little faster than that.
I
Your
used.
form sucks.
Your form sucked. That was the thing, and then the rest of it was just
yeah,
like
it was
voices.
just extra.
Yeah.
You're like, your form sucks.
Your
You're
form
like,
sucks.
you're so offended that you miss.
Okay. If I try and leave, would it get an attack of opportunity on me? Because I
it
am there.
the gnome succeeded in continuing to
Okay.
pacify it, so technically it's not hostile.
So
You
I am
hit
going.
it, which it wants to be hostile, but I can't in good conscience let it change sides that quickly.
Okay.
Come on. What are you doing in there?
I run out and I get right into Leo's face. What do you mean my form was bad?
And as you say that, the door completely shuts, and you see the mushroom uproot itself from the ground and start to like inflate and then get a little smaller and 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 a little smaller until it's only about the size of a 1.5 feet tall, and it just goes into one of the small caverns that's in the wall and just disappears into the darkness. And all the garden and whatever else was here is just sitting there with a big hole in the ground, and there's no mushroom left.
Excuse me. Was that guy 1.5 feet taller? Like a little bit shorter than that?
Magic.
It shrank.
He's probably fine.
He's
all right.
probably. You know, I'm not
Mushroom of
fine.
holding.
Something hit me. Can you take a look at it?
Yeah, if you insult my form again, it's going to be me that hits you.
Yeah, the dagger's still
No,
stuck in their back.
Don't look. I'll take care of that for you.
Okay.
I put it back with my stuff.
So the mushroom went away and went away.
Do I feel my tentacle shrink down?
You feel the connection with your tentacle
Just-
pop. Yeah. Oh, good God.
Your tentacle shrinks when it's cold.
No.
Yes.
That's the soundbite. No.
The button.
I don't want that to be the soundbite. I haven't written any of those down. Okay. Go ahead. I'm done, so just do whatever you want.
Okay. To Leo,
Yes.
you said my form needed work.
It just does, yes.
In what way? My form is impeccable.
Well, first off, thinking your form's impeccable is a great way to not make your form any better.
How can I be better? I'm already perfect.
And that's why you definitely hit that thing the second time you tried.
I didn't need to.
Maeve,
I want to reach out and try and
Maeve, can
slap
you do this
Talio.
another time, please.
No, I want to slap Talio.
Roll attack roll.
I think all of us
Okay.
need
Oh my
rest
God.
right now.
Yeah. Got pretty hot in there.
Okay. Just a straight like D20? Or
With proficiency, because all creatures are proficient with unarmed.
Ooh.
But
I don't know what to add to that.
That's 3. Plus 3.
it would be your
Plus 3.
Your sword attack.
Oh, okay. Oh,
your dexterity because it's
What? For unarmed?
open-handed. If it was like a fist, I mean, yeah, sure.
Don't worry
I don't,
about
I
it.
don't give a shit. Did you? How?
I'm
What
so
did you get
confused.
on the?
What
the
you
first
roll?
one was a 3.
Okay, so you don't hit.
It's not.
No.
You're just like no.
I back off. What's
No.
gotten into you? What is your deal?
Goodness.
Did you not see that furniture?
I did, yes.
Yeah. The material was great. I wanted some.
Is the dagger still in Talio's bag?
Yes.
No, Len pulled it out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did. Thank you.
Yeah, let me
I wanted to skin them for some of the material. It was high quality cloth.
And you realize that the person that you were trying to skin, the things that you were trying to skin belonged to somebody who saved us and helped us. Did you ask him for permission?
Did he ask us before his furniture attacked us?
I'm pretty sure he didn't.
There we go. Point is,
To be fair, he
mushroom
was,
shrank and now is gone, and it is a complete moot point. However, how dare you yell at me? You made me miss.
I did make you miss. That was the point, yeah.
Glad we're on the same page now.
What,
Talio, you get 6 HP back. I give you a little back rub and it feels better.
I am not almost dead now. Thank you, then. Can you back me up here with this one?
You're on your own.
Lynn,
Huh?
the cloth was exceptional quality, wasn't it?
I didn't.
Do you just like go into people's houses and like steal their garments?
It
Is that how
wasn't
this works?
cloth. It
Sam-
Not
was
steal, but you know, if I ask nicely.
Although
See, I'm
that
not
would
a-
make it our second
Wait,
skin
was it-
bag, so
Not as great of a judge of those kinds of things as you are, so I can't quite tell.
No, I mean, what do you propose? I go into a store and, well, I could buy them. I don't really want to. It's easier this way.
I'll look around. Is there any of the mushroom folk standing around waiting for us to be our guide?
what was his name again?
There isn't any mushroom web
King
standing around. Roll an insight check.
Unculine.
King
Okay.
Anki.
Go
King
roll an
Anki.
insight check.
18.
18. It looks like you have a few rubberneckers watching this public argument. One of them does appear to be fungal in nature, but none of them look like they're there to wait for you. They're here for the drama.
They're here for the tea.
Yeah, they're like one of them's like spell.
Hey, Anki.
Arnold.
Yeah. You were going to show us someplace where we could rest. One of you was platform little goblin fellow.
He's like, this is a what looks like a very small, like extremely adolescent, if not almost infant, but like it's just very, very, very small kobold that doesn't have its head. Its spine is sticking out of part of the part where its shoulder would meet, and instead it's just holding a half desiccated kobold skull in its hand like a football, and it's just talking.
Isn't your voice box like in the? Never mind.
Don't think about it.
One of y'all was gonna show us where we could sleep. Can you point us in the right direction? I don't want to take up too much of your time if you're
Well,
busy.
you were supposed to be able to sleep somewhere. You sleep, right?
Yes.
You sleep?
I'm not asleep right now.
Okay. You go to sleep?
We all do, yeah.
Meat wad.
You do?
Is there like an inn?
No, this is not really interesting to me because I'm in a bunch of other people with ears like you and they don't fucking sleep.
Are they all Ankyline?
I think he means elves sleep.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's not like humans.
Can I
sleep.
be inside of you?
No, thank you. I'm not sure the salt would take too well to the mushroom.
Oh.
I look at its neck hole. What happened to you?
Are you asking, or do you want to try to discern before you ask?
Oh, I'm asked. Well, both.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and roll a medicine check?
Ooh. 15.
15. It looks like this was nice, clean cut. So a young kobold was beheaded. It also, like, actually, the cut itself. This is complicated. The cut itself is jagged, but it's not snapped. It's not pulled. It's not like something fell off. It is a cut, meaning it was by a sword or some sort of blade that wasn't fine. It was some sort of dull or scavenged thing. So it could very well have been like kobold on kobold violence or whatever. It could be a multitude of things. All you know is that the thing was killed. It was beheaded.
Okay. Yeah, Maeve is long past like tact with like the commoners.
Sure.
So, what happened to your head? Who cut it off?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I wasn't there.
What do you mean you weren't there? You were definitely there.
I wasn't there. I came after.
Oculine's not the bodies.
Well, yes. Don't they still retain the memories?
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
I thought you still retain the memories of whatever host you're occupying.
I mean, sometimes, if they haven't been dead that long. I mean, if there's no brain left, there's nothing to remember.
I look down at the skull.
It's like half
Okay.
full skull, half still has some like desiccation stuff dried to it.
Got it. You got no brains. You could have just led with that.
Brains being dead.
Just lead us where we need to go.
Oh, that's
You.
Disney. Can't see.
I'm just gonna
Parody law.
push. What my friend is trying to say here is that I and my companions could use some place to just lie down for a minute. Or
Yeah, okay,
a
we can
few
probably find
hours.
you some cots and tents.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, sure.
Someplace that's not going to try and eat us, preferably.
I can't promise that.
And
Let's
they
do
grab the
watches.
lower jaw and the upper jaw of their head,
'Cause I'm
and they
hurt.
just
That's
open it all the way, almost 180 degrees, and then just clamp it onto their spine and flesh, like it's biting onto its own neck this way, like this way.
That is cool.
I mean, that's
And then it just goes
convenient.
like, and then it just starts walking.
Follow.
Disgusting. Is there a reason why you keep the head?
Is there a reason why you keep that attitude?
What's it talking out now?
He's got you there.
You don't know. You have no clue. Like, it's just emanating from the body. Do you want to try to discern where the voice is coming from?
No, I'm
No,
just
that's right.
No.
You want to
just
inspect?
enjoying
You
the moment.
No.
want to start lifting flaps?
Just enjoying Maeve getting told off. It's pretty.
So Maeve,
Yes.
What do you feel about the iron box?
Well, there's a small chance that they may owe me a favor.
Oh,
However, it's also been quite a
Oh
long...
yeah, no, they totally do.
Oh, you know this?
Yeah.
How do you know this?
I'm in one of the record keepers.
Interesting. Okay, so in that case, the Iron Box do owe me a favor.
Wait, they have a record of my friend here?
Yeah.
Like their records go back all the
I
way.
don't forget anything.
Their records go all the way back to the before time.
Yes.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. I just
Oh, no
wanted
worries.
to clarify that.
Well, I'm
it's
glad
hard to
that-
get to those. Yeah, it's hard. It's also hard to make sure that the person I have in there, undercover, is
As they take their hand and they just put it up in the air when they do that. So not to a mouth or anything when they do this movement.
interesting pantomime.
Well, I am glad to know that my legacy endures.
Hey, Anki.
Mally, stop. You and Alex both. You fidget makes so much ambient noise. Go ahead.
Oh.
King,
You said you're good to know that your legacy is.
Yeah, it's good to know that my legacy has endured even through the end of days.
King Anki, if you can remember back that
Yes, my
far,
subject.
if you can remember back that far, how many years has it been since this all happened?
769 years since the fall.
Nice.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, the only reason why Greaves is still around is. Oh no, it's telling me to shut up.
The fall of what?
Everything.
Did it all happen
Is it?
really quick? Or did
Well,
it take
some
years?
like to think there was a war, but it only lasted like 2 months, if that. Oh. Well, I mean, I wasn't everywhere when it happened. It happened. It was more like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Can you tell us what happened?
As far as I know, Greaves told you everything I know. He knows more than I do.
Is there
If-
like some books or something we could read up on this?
Books?
Yeah, books.
Like, you mean records?
Sure.
That's me.
Or perhaps someone we can
Because
ask with a
books
less,
we don't have space for books anymore.
someone with a less grating voice.
Okay.
I'll ignore that.
No, life is much better if you do. So,
Have any of your platforms succumbed to the Ichor,
Yes.
the chaos? What
Mhm.
happens to them?
I don't know.
They disconnect.
Yeah, painfully.
Okay.
Or I self-annihilate
Ah,
to keep. I don't know what could happen, so I don't want to take the chance.
understood.
Um,
Then you probably wouldn't want to be inside me anyway.
what?
Ixnay.
Hey, just
wait,
like
no,
you
I
should
know
ignore
this.
me, maybe you should also ignore
Right.
this one. Elves are to be ignored. You know the rules.
Okay.
Well, except for me.
So it happened once.
just like-
It was super painful, and it
You don't want it to
fucking
happen
sucked,
again.
and it didn't like it, so I stopped it.
Different, perhaps, kind of question. Do you have any records of anybody doing time travel? Or planar
It's
travel?
like the neck joint, which is on the top.
Oh, let's go down a little bit lower. A little lower. There's
They
the
put their
tab.
finger in the eye socket. That's skeletal.
There you go. Yes, there we go.
There's a bunch of magic out there that does type of things. Slows it, stops it. Backwards, though. Oh, that's a between the realms kind of deal.
Okay.
Please lead us to our bed quarters.
It's
We can
not a
talk
bed.
on-
Like I said, it's like a cot Well, there's one cot and a couple hay stack things.
We can talk on the way, and it will give me something to do besides look at your skull.
I just want to
What,
throw
this?
out here.
And they pull it off their head and just go.
Oh, the noise it makes.
While that's happening, I just want to throw this out here. I have done a lot of traveling, and unfortunately, I can't sleep on a hay pile. I hate to be that type of person. I will have the worst rash.
I think you can have the cot.
Are you sure? I might just take the.
I don't think anybody's gonna fight you for it.
Oh, thank you.
Well, here we are.
Oscar, you've slept on a hay bale before.
And there's 3 tents
Any
here.
night.
That one's occupied, but they're willing to share, and those 2 are empty. They haven't come back for a while, so we assume they're dead.
Lynn, would you like the middle tent with me?
Sure.
Cool. Decisions have been made.
Okay. There's
The rest of you shall fend for yourselves.
Inside the middle tent, there are 2 kind of like rough hay stacks meant to be.
Lay some cloth over one of them.
Wait.
I have to. It looks like hay, and then you get close to it, and it is not hay.
Oh.
It is what?
Fungus
it's-
version.
yeah, it's a reedy fungus.
I
Oh,
lay
pretty cushiony then.
I lay some skirts
It
or
is
something
softer.
over
Got
it.
some sponge to it.
I don't want to lay on this.
It's like the thinnest memory foam mattress you've ever slept on.
Ugh.
I'll take first watch, maybe.
Oh, we're watching. Right.
I mean, you're only gonna sleep like half the time they are, so.
I mean, you're here. There's other people on watch. You're in.
Just habit that we got into.
I mean, I'm on watch, like everywhere.
That's fair.
Since there's
But okay. I'm starting to learn to be like catty. It's kind of fun.
From this one, right?
Yeah. Greaves said I should try it.
Yeah, just observe and mimic.
Me too, actually. It's
You'll
kind of
learn pretty
intoxicating.
quickly.
I'm not a mimic.
No, I'm telling him
I'm
to
not a
mimic you,
mimic.
to act like you.
yeah, that was so good.
Pop, hip, wrist out. Fix hair. Got it.
And you fix hair,
Period.
and they get the fingers stuck. We did it at the same time. Shut the fuck up. They get their like claw finger stuck in their eye socket as they try to fix the hair, and the skull just shifts.
Maeve's teaching them all how to slay.
Slay.
I'm gonna go into the last one, and right before I pop up to it, I'm just gonna say, so just so that we're all on the same page here, we're trying to get Wings to go back in time to rescue Pip, to then go back to the plane, back here, but at the right time, but with all of our people. Is that what we're supposed to be doing right now?
You hear this thing whistle, but you have no idea where that whistle came from. On this body without lips.
We're trying to get back to Elias
Elias, yes.
so that they can send us back to our time.
That's right. Elias. And we need Wings so that we can rescue Pip whenever we're
We
with
need
Elias.
some way of flying.
Yes. Okay.
That would be helpful.
So we just need to go back to the Famals.
Yeah. Although
Yeah. King
did-
Aki, what happened to the Famors? Do you know? We've heard that it might not be.
Right. I mean, again, Greaves knows more about this than I do.
well, it was Tim that said he knew. Wasn't it Tim? Somebody was
Tim?
saying they knew.
10.
Tim.
No,
Tim.
the fungus guy, wasn't it?
Tim.
Saying that
yeah.
he knew
Tib.
Elias, or he had met
Um,
Elias before, and that the Fae
I
was
did-
just as gone as this place.
I don't know if I would trust that one.
That's
I
fair.
mean, I don't think that's necessarily bad information. It's not something we should roll out, but
I mean, I'm in him. Well, whatever's left of him.
You're in Tim.
Yeah, Tim.
He didn't give us.
He like you see like this kind of lean back for a second.
That's kind of dumb. Okay.
he
yeah.
didn't want to give us his real name, so we got Tim.
Yeah.
What do you mean, what's left of him? He seemed fairly intact compared to
Well, he's
some
not-
of you.
He's here, but he's not here. He's kind of like, not really alive, but also alive.
Cryptic, I'm going to bed.
Okay.
I walk into the tent and just.
Slam the flap.
Hey, what does the hay smell like in there?
Umami.
It makes me want to gag.
Like when you first open the.
Oh, that's
carton of
good to know,
mushrooms
thank
from
you.
The grocery store just smells like earth.
You're very
Yeah, it's just
welcome.
kinda, it's very earthy.
Well,
I
I'm
love
gonna
that
pass
smell.
out too because I have exhaustion. I just remembered that.
Yeah.
just gonna like open the flap and sniff it.
So, who's in the middle tent? Who's in the right tent?
I
Two
don't-
people.
if there's hay bale in there, I can go in there.
Yeah, that's what the hay is in the middle and the right. And who's going in the left one then? That's where the cot is. One cot.
Tilio, didn't you want the cot? Right.
I do want the cot, but I open the flap of the tent on the right because I think that's where the cot is. What does it smell like? It doesn't smell like hay, right?
It smells like a fart and a loogie that this half-elven person who's missing one ear and super scruffy and has something and has a lazy eye looks at you and just. What's yours?
I heard there was a cot in a different one.
Where's the cot?
That's the cot.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I'm Tilio.
Cat got your dog.
Pleasure to meet you.
Sure.
All right. And I go and lay down on the cot.
Facing him or away from him?
Oh, wait.
Just like lay down and stare.
no.
Scruffy the janitor.
You just met your Sally.
Yeah, this is chilling. All right. Nothing.
Don't steal
Aren't
his
you?
booze
Aren't
now.
you tired? Are you tired?
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
That's a mood. All right. This is gonna be a long
Died
night.
pretty quick.
Right.
Sitting up on the edge of this other
Murder
cot,
most
just
I'm
swaying back.
going to cast.
Oh no!
I promise it's not that bad. I'm going to spend 20 minutes in ritual cast Find Steed
20 minutes? It costs 10 minutes to think.
to cast. Yeah, and then ritual is another 10.
Sure. You just set it up on the ground and do your little ritual and
Well, I do miss Sable.
Yeah,
Oh,
put my
before you go
little.
in the tent,
pluck a
I'll
little
prestidigitate
lullaby.
Your sword for you. That's how you clean it.
it's just like this freshy. It's like it's not fresh. It's still salt water, but it's brackish, but it has that very invigorating kind of sea foam near the sea kind of smell where it's just like
Not dead fish.
yeah, it's not like not the fishy smell, but like very clean seawater type thing. Just goes whoosh, kind of foams up on your sword, and then scrubbing bubbles style just disappears.
Oh.
I was gonna eat that.
Were you?
No.
The words get caught in her throat. Thank
alright.
you. Goes to notch the sword back into its sheath.
See, like the fungal kobold goes.
You know, you probably want to do that every once in a while.
Say thank you or clean the sword.
Both. Just
Good.
to keep in practice.
It's good practice, yeah, for both.
Yes, well, when most people are beneath you, you don't tend to have to break out that kind of
All right, good luck.
politeness.
Thanks.
Bye! I'm tired of looking at you.
You're looking at me no more wherever you look. Goodbye.
As long as it's not this iteration.
Everywhere. I see.
You see the head just go everything. As it just backs away. It goes, everything.
I really hope our guide tomorrow is not that iteration of them.
It's gonna be.
Just because you said that, he's going to send that one back every time. I guarantee.
All right. Oh,
Okay.
go ahead. What do you? Do you cast the Find Steed spell?
I cast Find Steed. yeah,
Okay.
And I.
We'll
level
get to when
super-
you finish it in a moment.
Okay.
So you're not done with it.
I
Maeve and Len are in the same tent together, correct? Okay. You guys are in the tent together.
Yes.
You have a moment.
Len,
The flap is closed.
Len, do you think?
I.
Well,
no,
okay.
that's not where I was going with it. I was saying that you have a
First-
moment of privacy.
I know.
Like,
I mean,
Fade
yeah,
to
no, it's just
black.
like,
I
know,
mean, come on,
appease the
don't make them
shippers,
roll for
right?
that.
Hey, Lynn, how are you doing? You come here often? No.
Roll for initiative.
Is this because you
y'all are family. Stop. What the fuck?
already
wrong with
established
you?
their family is inbred as fuck?
That's very true. It's a very good point.
It is in fact canon.
Like this, there's a precedent set for this.
Also,
It's fine.
Fairly
Gross.
distant family,
Let's
but
move
also
on.
okay. So
let's move on.
Oh my god.
okay. Joking aside, first question: would he be better with or without that skull?
I didn't really think about it.
Oh, I've spent nothing but the past 20 minutes thinking about it.
What do you mean, like fashionably?
No, like if he didn't have, like, would he be less concerning to look at if he just didn't have a skull at all? If it was just like an open neck?
I don't know. I kind of like it. I appreciate the macabre touch to things. You know?
You would. What if you put like a nice little hat over the neck hole though? Or like if maybe if they put on like a cloak and then just kind of had the hood drape over to like hide the hole. Like, do they need the skull? Do you think?
That would be quite cool, actually, if they did have the hood draped over and you see this mysterious figure approaching you and they bring back their hood and you see his skull staring straight at you.
Oh, you know that actually would be.
Could be
That's
quite
not what they
strange.
did. Maybe
Well,
we
if-
can.
if.
Okay, maybe tomorrow you can give them some pointers on style, on a slightly less pressing, less important note. Do you think any of our family's still alive?
Well, first of all, I'm not the one to give style tips or things like that. That's very much your domain, not mine.
Thank you. Well, in terms of the brooding aesthetic, you have me beat.
Take what I can get.
I am Batman.
Second of all, I would assume most of our bloodline, if not all, probably all, to pretty much be dead.
That's. Yeah, that's fair. Well,
In that case, at least, we're two of a kind.
yes, we are. Do you think? Okay, so do you think the Aeon box would be our best bet for getting back to the Feywilds? Because
I've been hoping not.
Len, roll both an Arcana and a History check. You tell me which order you're rolling them in, depending on what order you roll them in. Because you can roll whatever you want to roll, but depending on what order you're rolling in, you're going to get vastly different results.
All right, I'm doing Arcana, then History.
Okay.
So Arcana was...
Hey, Maeve, just a tip. Tents aren't very soundproof.
Arcana is 16.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's just a slab of canvas.
I mean, yes. Well,
You
I'm
are
just-
like under a bit of an overhang in like a little bit of an out of the way place. So like among these three tents, there's like two others that are here, but nobody really seems to be, as far as you can tell with your passive perception, nobody seems to be really care.
just
But-
as an aside, like, yes. Well, you're not trying to sleep right now anyway, so.
Maybe they can sleep.
Or I will put you to sleep.
Okay, so
Anyway,
Us just so cranky when he doesn't get his nap.
anyway.
Literally exhausted right now.
16 Arcana and 15 History.
16 Arcana, and then 15 History.
Yeah.
Quick
You
maths.
boy smart.
Okay. 16 Arcana. The question that caused this to happen was: do you think the Aeon box
would be
might
the best way to get
correct?
back to the Feywilds.
You have read things about the Aeon box in the books that your tutor brought to you. One of the things about the Aeon box is that they claim to have lineage all the way back to the Celendian Empire, and actually claim to have either direct relative heritage to Emperor Serlendist himself, or part of his distant family, cousins, or other noble family that is somehow either familial, blood related, or by marriage related, or just like very, very powerful noble family. They claim to be nobility from way back, from since elves started calling themselves elves in this realm. The Selendian Empire was like the first thing of that. One of the parts that the things that they pride themselves on, kind of like how the Urialor family prides itself on being amazing hunters and the blood of magic running through their veins. So a lot of sorcerers and rangers that are just kind of like part of their coat of arms and their battle cry type of thing. Like that's their clan, you know? The Ehrenbachs pride themselves on some of the most potent bloodlines that tout from what you have read, the most longevity of any other elven lineage. Not just that, but because they have that, they're able into a single lifetime, as far as you know, of more than any other creature that exists, except for, you know, immortal entities and elemental entities and things like that, have gathered and collected vast amounts of experience, knowledge, management, all this. So they're really, really good at a lot of stuff because they have amazing perspective, because they've seen empires rise and fall. It's like being an immortal and experiencing thousands and thousands and thousands and epochs of years. So they are touted as the wisest among the families that are still remaining of the Elven Empire or the Elven lineage, and therefore use that constantly to stay in power, meaning that they're extremely intelligent, they're extremely wise, and they've been around for basically forever. Now, that's what you get for the history. I know you got a 16 on the con, but I want to do the history first because of the order you did it in, the history is going to help you understand why the Arcana was like this way. Because technically, that's the thing that you get after you get this first thing, but the first thing makes more sense. You understand, oh yeah, I read about the Ehrenbachs being able to manipulate matter instinctively. Like they could, like some basic prestidigitation or other small cantrips, be able to fill a mug full of wine or a glass of wine, just kind of like without a thought, without batting an eye, without having to do any components, without having to do any type of say anything, do any hand movements. It just happens with a thought. These types of things happen, and so much so that sometimes the air gets sucked out of the room when they enter, just because their pressure of their presence is so powerful. It's like a bowling ball dropped on a piece of fabric in the room, and you just feel the gravity kind of pull you in there, in that direction. And there was treatises of conspiracy theories that have written about it, saying that they actually have a gravitational force in the fabric of space-time upon their existence. And it went even further and further about like, oh yeah, cool. Like, and then you're like listening about how like, oh, they've lived for the longest time. And then this, and you're like, that's why the second one makes more sense to go first and the further, because they've lived for so fucking long that the longer they live, the bigger the bowling ball gets on the piece of fabric, because they collect that much more knowledge of magic, experience, wisdom, that they just become a force that is more recognized by the universe itself, from becoming, like, for all intents and purposes, a force of nature. And to tout, but a man-made force of nature. Does that make sense? Kind of?
Yeah.
It's so much so that they can actually, this conspiracy theorist, you've read 2 books by him, and of course it was crackpot stuff, like, you know, but it was really important for you to do so because your tutor saw perspective. either know thy enemy or know where the bounds lie. So you know what it looks like when you start to be crazy. And granted, now that you're thinking about this, you're like, wait a second. Because the second book by this guy, his name was Tritarian Gourmand, and he was like, he would love, his family was all about cooking. They were like amazing chefs, but he was like, no, I'm going to be existential and conspiracy theorist, and I'm going to go hide in a hut in the forests of south of Sarnla, and because they're out to get me and the Ehrenbachs are going to kill me, but I'm going to publish my books under a misnomer name. The second book is about how, they totally have a force of gravity in the existence. So much so where gravity affects space-time. Gravity affects how space happens. Gravity affects how time happens. Meaning that they could possibly have some sort of ability to manipulate the flow of time or how space happens around them simply by existing. And that could account for why they have such longevity.
Okay.
Because of that, sorry, I know this is long-winded, I'm so sorry. But because of that, you rolled pretty high, so I have to give you a lot. So because of that, when she said they could be the best thing for getting back, maybe not by going back to the Feymores or whatever it is, but if you're going to put any stock in some conspiracy theorists, they could have some innate control over space and time itself.
Yeah. So while we're talking,
And this is like, you never put any stock into this ever before. It was something that was immediately dismissed. But she says that, and you see them still alive, and pieces just start to go together, and you're like, but what if?
yeah, like the conversation halts and then stops talking for like a minute, and you can see like the gears turn in his brain.
But it's just this vacant expression.
Yeah. And I would describe that longevity that they have, the fact that they pride themselves very much and always have on how long they live, how much knowledge they collect, and sound very insane describing this conspiracy theory I read once.
So this gravity. No, I'm joking.
Maeve probably didn't pay a whole lot of attention in class.
I mean, Maeve is actually very intelligent, but that's
I agree.
not-
I think it's more of like a willful.
But like science, not her forte. She liked history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
long
think
story
your
short.
intelligence is so good. As like you could learn anything you want to.
Oh, yes.
You just don't want to do a lot of stuff.
Which, is just like me, IRL, back in college. But, neither here nor there.
Long story short, it's entirely possible that the Aerobox do have some measure of control over time, and
Okay, because I know I've mentioned this slightly. Do you remember the grand masquerades that they were held?
I was not invited to any masquerade.
You know what? I should have realized that. Point is, one year, Lady Ehrenbach came to me and asked me specifically to make her a dress for the grand masquerade. Uncredited, of course, but it was me. And for this grand gesture, for the grand masquerade, I suspect they may owe me a grand favor. However, I'm not sure if that favor extends to my, she stumbles on the words, friends.
Well, we don't really have any better options, and given how long they tend to live, that 700 something years is probably like a blink of an eye to them. So I couldn't think of anything else. I think our best bet would be to find them and hope they make do on
They make good on their promise.
do something for us.
That would be nice. We could use a win.
Maybe they do have some kind of magics or knowledge that would send us back somehow. If that is the case, though, then I would have to wonder, why wouldn't they just go back and...
They also strike me as the kind that even if they do owe a favor, any boon they offer us may come at a cost.
Any cost would probably be kind of worth it. At this
You
point.
don't know the kind of cost the Aeon box ask.
And we can find out.
Guess we shall.
The other
That's
thing.
a very good question. That's a very good thing. Can you roll another history check? This one at advantage.
Aaron Box seemed like the type that would be fine to rule over the ashes. Maybe that's what
I was
going
going
to
to say 24.
24. When she says you don't know how steep the costs could be from the Ehrenbach for a favor, you do know. You do know one example that you read about from your time, your space and time, several centuries ago. There was a dispute among some of the families, among the Trellius family and the Ehrenbach family. And it didn't get heated. It just got to a point where there wasn't a resolution in sight. It was a disagreement over from the outside in, it seems very vapid. It was a disagreement over where the Grand Masquerades should be held in perpetuity, like what manner, what family they should be held at. And the Ehrenbach said it should be held at ours because we're the oldest and we know what we're doing. And the Trelliuses said it should be held at ours because we're the greatest warriors and we will have the most security should there be any assassination attempts. And over the course of 7 years, there was a great disagreement. Eventually. And it was very, passive aggressive, all this other
That's
stuff.
the pettiest reason for a Hatfield McCoy situation.
But over 300 elven lives perished in that disagreement. In back alleys, poisoned wine, moldy bread, stillbirth caused by poisons. And eventually the Trellius says, that's enough. We give up. It was a war. It was a not-so-cold war. And the Trelliuses, then the Ehrenbach said, fine, but that's too little too late. You owe us everything now. And you will go wherever we tell you to now. So the Trelliuses swore fealty to the Ehrenbachs. And the Trelliuses are just they are another branch, but they're no longer their own branch. They are now a subsidiary of the Ehrenbachs, and they always have been as long as you've known them. And they took the price, and and you see that, you remember in the later chapters of this book, that it was anytime the Trelliuses have a birth, it needs to be approved by the Ehrenbachs. Anytime someone gets pregnant, it needs to be approved, and if not, it will be terminated. And anytime they have a birth, the baby that would be born will be inspected by the Ehrenbachs, and if it doesn't go up to snuff, the baby disappears.
Right.
Yeah, so we're,
No. We'll see what happens when it happens. We'll see what happens when it comes.
sounds good to me. Maeve goes into her trance.
One more thing, though,
I open one eye. Yes.
we will probably have to be sort of crafty about it. It's entirely possible that the Ehrenbachs appreciate this future where they reign supreme. They're the elves, so they may not want us to, fix what led them to becoming the supreme elves.
Okay, but let's go at it this other way. If we go back and we fix things, these Ehrenbachs will still exist. Right?
I mean,
Because, think about it this way. If we do succeed and go back and fix things, the future this point in time will be repaired, right? It should be happier and better and something. The Aeon box might still be in charge, but it's the future. So either this is the only possibility and us going back fixes nothing, or we can go back and fix things. We just aren't. This is a different road. We go back to the fork in the road and we take the other path. The Aeon box will still be in charge on this road. But we can go down the other one. I think that's the idea.
Yeah, something like that. But I can't help but wonder, like...
I may just be tired and rambling.
Well, I'd wonder, surely there's something we have to gain from coming here, because if we made that trip and just went back, then it was all for not much.
Well,
If the Aeon box do have such a massive storage of just information, just knowledge in general, maybe we can learn a thing or two before we go back to.
maybe we can get our cat friend a pair of wings. He seems very keen on the idea.
Maybe.
It's funny, I always thought cats hated birds. Anyway, good night.
Good night.
This, and they didn't. So they could
Trance time.
You begin to trance, and Len, you stay awake for a moment.
I'm going to drink some of the blood tomorrow.
You're gonna drink some of the.
No, tomorrow I'm probably going to have to. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, are you drinking some of the blood now, or no?
No.
I think you probably sit at the edge of your bed and you just kind of gather your thoughts of all the things that you've read about history. You had to digest thousands, if not tens of thousands of books during your study with your tutor. And a lot of it, fell between the cracks and stuff, but it's still there, there's somewhere. And now you're starting to pull from all those pieces. And the travesty of the ripple, the mark, the gravity of what the Aeon box have done or caused in the history of just the elves even is astounding. It's perhaps far more reaching than you previously thought. And you think about that for a moment before you try to slink into sleep. What is the last question that hits your mind before you drift off?
So, I can't remember. It's been a long time, but didn't at one point the corruption at one point successfully contained in Sarnla or something? Am I misremembering what that was?
We found the one site in the cradle in the Shalian forests where it was contained.
Where you saw all those elven bones and those runes where you first fought an actual humanoid version of it.
Yep.
Yes, that was a place where it was
not
contained.
defeated.
Are you referring to post-apocalyptic? One of the places, the gravimetric magnets that pull Fae in, that Greaves created, kept them in one place mostly, so that they could go and scavenge and deal with other stuff. Because most of the ones that were corrupted were first the invading Fae forces, and there were a lot of them.
Okay.
So most of what is left is Fae in lineage when it comes to what is ichor and resin.
And that room that we had found, if I recall, was lined with elven bones.
Mm-hmm. Ancient elven bones, which you guys realize were dated back to the ancient elven empire.
Mm-hmm.
And may have just lost it, but yes.
And there was some sort of magic circle of runes that seemed to have kept it from seeping out of the stone.
Was they were written in, or they were filled with,
With-
the dried blood of those sacrificed elves.
Yes. And when you recarved the rune that was faded and filled it with some of elven blood, it
Reactivated.
resealed it. That's correct. So what was your question? Is that your question?
No.
Guys are ridiculous.
fucking around. Do I actually need that?
Don't die.
You want to think about it for a second?
Yeah, I'll think
Okay.
about
We'll
it.
come back
Alright,
to you if
sure.
you want. Osfer and Bast, you're in tent together.
I was keeping watch
Okay. You want to do it inside the tent or outside the tent?
outside the tent.
Okay. Osfer Bast goes to go
And
outside the
then
tent.
when
and looks
Maeve's
back at you
trance is
before you-
over, I'll take.
Okay. You good? You ready to go to sleep?
Yeah, I think
or-
he's asking, do you two want to chat?
I'm literally exhausted. I'm gonna go to sleep right now.
So, Bast, you go out, go like, I'm going to go for watch, and you turn back, and Oscar's just out. Not even like half of his body's not even on the haystack because he's just gone. You, in the temple, used to sleep on actual flat stone slabs, so you can sleep anywhere.
Yeah, this is a luxury.
Yeah, this is luxury for you. Yeah, and you're just like, okay. And you go outside and you do your watch. There's nothing really, I'm not even going to make you guys roll. You are in a civilization. You're in a colony. You're in a town. Granted, it is
I'm just not ready to drop my
not
guard.
the town above, but
Just not ready to drop my guard.
you got it.
There's people out here looking for us. So.
What's your passive perception? I know you're actively looking,
15.
but okay, 15. I think you do notice a couple things. I think you notice that you are being watched by about 4 different fungal individuals, just staring at you from very various distances. One from like 50 feet away, one from like 500 feet away, just like, and different elevations in different spots too. And they're just, you don't know, you spot them over the course of the 4 hours because there's just so many people, even because night and day doesn't really do as much here. People just do whatever they need to do whenever they need to do it and sleep whenever they can. So they're still hustling and bustling and moving about. And over the course of 4 hours, you finally find these 4 individuals that are like, where's
That haven't
Waldo
changed,
style?
yeah.
Just not, they haven't moved, they haven't changed, just staring at you. You wave at them. They wave back. Great. That's the end of your watch. You come up. You want to do, yeah.
Ritual.
You were casting your summon steed, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So Sable appears.
Yeah. Loudly or quietly?
Loudly
Okay. In the tent or
Loudly.
outside the tent?
in the tent.
Oh no. Okay.
Is the tent big enough for Sable?
Barely.
Good, then yes.
Okay, like
Inside of the
it's
tent.
gonna be
Crushes
real
the guy.
cozy in here. Oh, Sable,
What?
come on.
Hey, you, yeah, you. Good morning.
Can't tell if he's looking at you or not.
Look, we're going to sleep together, right? And between us is going to be this couch.
Well, I
and if
mean,
you-
I didn't really
oh my god.
very forward with it here.
We're sleeping together in a tent, dumbass.
Well, I mean, we can push the cots together if you like. But,
No, I
they
don't.
might want to sleep outside.
Oh my god,
Didn't
you
know
are
you had
you
it.
are actually too thick. Goodbye. I leave the tent with Sable.
Wait, I'll keep it warm for you.
Oh my god, this is going to be gross. Oh, hey Bastion. Thank you for taking first watch.
That's you spot one right there at that point.
Have you given any thought to how we're going to, get something to fly with, or even get back to the Famors?
Not
Any
really.
idea?
Been more concerned with the thing on my shoulder.
Oh yeah.
And then the slime thing just comes up to your shoulder.
I wasn't really talking about you, but how you doing, little buddy? I feed it some
It's Tumon Jr., right?
Yep. My new little buddy. Gotta say, his disposition's a lot better than the last little buddy I had.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of, what was it, like Kazixi or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
like
the
this
nicest of friends I've made over the years.
Well, speaking of nice friends, I'm on my way over to talk to Len some. But before I do you want me to give a try for that corruption?
If you got something you think will work,
I don't think it'll work, but I want to give it a try anyway.
I won't say no.
So I look at Bastion and I cast Dispel Magic, just kind of doing like a really low chant, sending as much, like thinking about healing as much as I can and placing my hand, and it was on your shoulder, right? Placing my hand on your shoulder.
You're trying to focus on the corruption?
Yes, with Dispel Magic.
Are you going to touch him?
Yes. Shit.
I
I go to touch him.
Skin contact was ill-advised,
All right.
so
No touching then. Got it.
especially right in that area, probably be the worst option.
I won't touch him, but I will get like a piece of cloth or something over my hand and
And then touch him?
then touch him. Yeah.
Okay. Is spell magic not touch? Is it? It's like 60 feet, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Because
Okay.
yeah, I'm just.
But you
thinking
want to
of
touch him, right?
Yeah. I have no idea how this works, and I want magic to be as potent as possible.
There it is.
Okay.
Person.
Thank you. Anything? Do you notice any difference?
And so you touch him and he cast the spell, correct?
Yes,
All right.
yeah.
You put some sort of glove or fabric. You can wrap your hand around in some sort of textile, scarf, whatever it need to. You touch him. You feel magic. You feel like you casted the spell. You feel magic. I think you probably feel the... what's one of your invocations?
I have Devil's Sight.
That's always active.
I have Devil Sight, so my extra dark vision,
Right.
and then just the investment of the Chainmaster, so my connection to.
So I think you probably feel your eyes weaken for a moment, for like the briefest of moments, and you feel there is a pain in your shoulder that's kind of deep in deep tissue that does appear to throb, kind of like when you have a hangover and someone makes a loud noise and you're like, oh, okay, and then it kind of aggravates it and it makes it throb more before it could finally settles down, or whether you're trying to like do something and you have to hold your breath in order to activate your abdomen, and then but that's too much in your head and it makes you a little dizzy and it gives you a little bit of a short-term very intense headache before it finally fades away. You kind of get that feeling in the head and in there for a moment.
That looked like it hurt.
I mean, it wasn't the most comfortable.
It's complicated how it feels. It was both relief and pain at the same time, but it was extremely fleeting. It almost similar to the times of which you have tried to remove the curse of lycanthropy from yourself, but were unable to do so, but for a moment gave you some sort of suspension of that feeling. You are a bit connected in this moment as you do so. One of you can roll an Arcana check and the other can roll a medicine check. You guys decide between the two of you.
I'm not great at either one.
Me either. What's more important to you?
I'll take the Arcana.
I'll
I
take
step out of my tent to roll the
Medicine.
Arcana.
I think, wait, Bass could use some help. That's the question.
And I was doing the medicine. Perfect. I have a 21.
21 for medicine. Go ahead.
16.
16. I'm going to do yours first. The magic that is being put into you, are you familiar with this? I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dispel magic. I think just your, as being an elf and being aware of magic and being a little bit more connected with the breath of life, I think that you are aware of that there's some sort of magic that Talio's putting into you that's trying to emulsify and like kind of get rid of magic, like kind of suck it up into one condensed spot to like trash it, get rid of it, disperse magic. And so you kind of understand that feeling, and at that moment you feel like it, whatever this corruption or whatever this spot is in you that may be infected or whatever, does respond to that, but only in like the minorest of ways, as much as you are not feeling that type of innate magical connection with this.
Okay.
Almost like the origins of this aren't magical.
Gotcha.
You get a 21 on your medicine check. You realize as you push your dispel magic in it that the dispel magic passed through where you were intending to do it, because that's what spells do. They do what your will tells it to do, but couldn't lock on a target, so then spread to the closest thing it could possibly do to try, which was your vision. And because of that, you realize this isn't magical. This is scientific. This is like purely biological. And by pure biology has been infected into him. Like this, whatever this resin, which is a massive epiphany, meaning that the resin and the ichor stuff is not magic in origin. It can be affected by magic. It can be contained by magic. It can have some sort of magic can have some sort of influence upon it. It can interact with magic and it can catalyze magic, but it itself at its core is purely biologically mundane, which is extremely dangerous, because that means that the fact that it is not magical and isn't affected by things that aren't magical as well, it is some sort of extremely higher evolved form of life that has specifically evolved to be nothing but to proliferate.
So it doesn't seem like this is going to help.
Nope. Does not seem to be the case.
Because you rolled over a 22, I'll give you this. You also know that because it's biological, it can be affected by biological things. Biology can get sick. Biology can get viruses. Biology can be decayed. Biology can, like, it could possibly follow the same rule set as life, something that's living.
It seems like it's not magical, whatever it is. I'm not sure if there's some way to isolate it and then do something with it there. That'd be the only thing I could think of.
I'm going to try something.
All right.
And I want you to tell me if you can still see it when I disappear. And I'm going to cast invisibility on myself.
This is super interesting.
The
So
shadows
you
of the
do
cave.
so. You do so. Yeah, there's like this kind of mist that starts up in on the bottom of near your ankles of your feet that kind of starts to slowly spread up your body, and then the shadows kind of creep in, and then you just see the whites of his eyes for a moment before the shadows then pull back away and he's not there. However, what's still there is this kind of like spread symbiote in his shoulder that then quickly, chameleon style, also becomes invisible. But there was this brief moment where it was visible in the air. But then it adapted very quickly, and then also adapted whatever was going on with him. Reconfirming your suspicion that it can fully catalyze magic.
Yeah.
Whatever's put into it, it can mimic.
I saw a black.
I'll drop out.
Okay.
It looked like a black ink blob with little tendrils going. And then
It's
it
like-
was gone. It was there for so
360 kind of like
short a time.
like your neurostems, like the brainstem, kind of like just all branching out. This small metastasized to just spread out in all directions.
So it was over his entire body.
It was centered in here, and it was about this big.
Okay. It doesn't look like it's spread everywhere from what I could see, but it's definitely in your vital organs.
So
Wait, is it in his organs or just in his shoulder?
Who are you?
Is inside
No,
his
I'm just-
anatomy,
No,
like
I'm just
in his
asking for
armpit.
clarification.
When he
okay.
went invisible, you can't see his organs.
Yeah.
You just see the thing floating in the air.
right. Okay.
you know? And that was only for the briefest of moments before it like quivered and became invisible.
I mean, if any of y'all have magic that can target a creature you can see,
Oh, that would be. We could try it.
Fuck, that's a really goddamn. I didn't think about that. That's really cool. Yes, you could do that. Granted,
it's only going to give you a split second to target. it,
also the
but
more times you do this, the
quicker
high,
it's gonna
It's gonna
react.
be like you're starting to realize with that high medicine check, this thing is an extremely highly adaptive life form, meaning that it learns and adapts and evolves on the fly and only gets smarter and stronger the more things you expose it to.
I think that's a good idea. Do we want to do that now?
Oh, I can't do that again.
Okay,
And
tomorrow.
First thing
First thing.
after we sleep.
And let's think of a plan of action because we can get all of us to try. It might hurt you a lot. I can bring you back if we end up accidentally killing you. That's where we're at right now.
So last time, another Arcana and another magic check or another medicine check because you've just revealed a bunch more of information. So whoever wants to do what?
Which one would you want?
Again, it's not going to matter. I got a +2 to either one.
Arcana or which one?
Medicine.
I've got a +3 in Arcana and a +2 in Medicine, so I'll take
take the
Arcana this
Arcana.
time.
14.
14 for medicine. You got it.
18.
18 for Arcana. Guys, you're doing pretty. That's still pretty good. 14 for medicine. You felt that thing shift and change when you went invisible, and you felt, I don't want to say like out of phase with it, but you felt sometimes when you drink cold water, you can feel the cold water going down your esophagus and you can feel it in your gut. At that moment, you felt like it wasn't the same temperature as you. Like you were aware of it inside of your body rather than your body accommodating it so that you don't actually feel it. Like you don't see your nose because your brain tells you not to feel it. You don't feel your organs or your heart beating, your blood pumping, and you don't hear that sort of thing. You could feel it there for a moment, but just for a fleeting moment. That was like the medicine part. The Arcana of it then is you're realizing that you completely put that with your medicine. Okay, this is an extremely adaptable creature. It adapts to everything that it can catalyze anything. It is a gateway for pretty much everything. And you're like, that's it. As you figure out the medicine part of it, it's not. You used to study this stuff. You used to study evolution and it had a couple tutors throughout and everything as you grabbed a couple information from your travels and from your budke because you wanted to learn, take a grain of sand from every guru as your parents told you to do so and tried to educate you by making you worldly. And one of the things you learned, especially from some of the Thule people, was that there are some creatures that are symbiotes. There are some creatures that are neither, that they just kind of exist they cohabitate and they don't help. There's not some mutual beneficial, but they just exist. And then there are some creatures who are parasites and they subsist off of other creatures. And the parasites are the vastly more adaptable type of life form than any other type of life form. Because they will find a host and will do absolutely anything they do to their own anatomy in order to make sure that they can survive within the host. And you're realizing this thing's a parasite. This thing can't exist without a host. it needs something to feed off of without being inside before. When then you realize like, oh shit. Any of the time that we saw those resin things, that was a host that was completely taken over. Toffel. He was a host that was completely taken over by one of these parasites. And then the resin just encapsulated the whole body. But it can't exist in a vacuum by itself. It can't. It needs something. It needs some sort of scaffolding. It needs some sort of magic to copy, anatomy to copy, some way, some rubric for it to be able to adapt to the environment in which it is living. Otherwise, its state 0 is not stable. Its vanilla state 0 is unstable. You had a question?
Oh, I was going to say, out of character slightly, Talio didn't encounter a whole lot of the Ichor, did he?
The what?
Talio didn't really encounter the Ichor as much.
The Ichor? Oh, no. I don't mean... this was just about science and anatomy. The things that they
okay.
learned traveling and
Got
learning from a
it.
bunch of tutors.
Sorry, you just mentioned like Toffel and stuff. That
Yeah.
was like way...
It was more about like, they learned about symbiotes. They learned about mutual cohabitation. They learned about parasites.
Got it.
Like
that
that
was
kind
all.
of thing.
I just...
Yep. And then they just knew, they kind of put the puzzle pieces together about how parasites have to be extremely adaptable to whatever host they can get their hands on, which is why they adapt so well and they evolve so fast. Meaning that they can like change what type of blood that they're used to just over the course of a couple days in order to survive in a certain environment, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this thing is almost like the perfect parasite. What you don't quite yet understand if it is conscious
Yeah. It's,
and why or what.
I've been going through my spell list and trying to figure out what I could possibly do. So, thinking about this a little bit more, I have another suggestion as well. Once we're rested up, if invisibility doesn't work, so it might already be too smart for that trick again. We could try polymorph, and for a similar effect. I don't know how exactly we would plan that, but something where we could isolate it for a period of time and changing your form. I haven't cast polymorph on you before, have I?
You haven't.
We could try that. What do you think?
You think it'd make me something really tiny?
Yeah, I was
See
thinking
if
that
it like pops out.
just for the second.
You also know how polymorph works. The tinier something is, the less constitution, the less resistant to damage it is. And as soon as it starts to get to the point where it would be killed, it pops back to whatever it was before, because the magic can no longer sustain itself.
That's true.
Yeah.
And if that was... So who knows how space and crunching and all that stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just because it's your spell, you're very familiar with how to cast it, you know its constraints.
Could also turn you into a gigantic amoeba. It's,
The only way to find out is to try it, really, but these are just things that you know.
well, that's what I've got. I think we can do this, though. I'm feeling a lot better about this than I was about 5 minutes ago. Anything else? I'm gonna go talk to Len.
Nope. I think Len's sleeping though.
I'm sure you'll appreciate being woken up for this. Go into the tent.
Okay?
Len, are you in here?
Yeah.
Hey, so
What question was Len thinking about as he has his eyes open laying down on his thing when Talio walks in? Or has he given up on this moment?
He was thinking mostly about what kind of knowledge the Aeon Box have access to, like what kind of libraries they have, things like that.
You would assume that they have some of probably the most comprehensive, oldest libraries, perhaps in all of existence. Maybe only to be rivaled by those of the temples of the monkish temples.
Also, my question, I was thinking, how could the Aeon box favor best be earned? Like, can I recall any instance in which some individual somehow gained great favor with the Aeon box and how they did it?
Okay. Let me get back to you.
Yeah.
You go ahead. Yeah.
So I come in and looking at Len, just, hey, I forgot to do this last time, but I can help you with your shoulder again. I'm sorry, it looked like you were lost in thought. Didn't interrupt too much, did I?
No, not too much.
Okay. Well, do you want to keep your shoulder, or would you like your shoulder returned to
I
some?
would like it returned. Thank you.
Ah, perfect. All right. I'm going to dump some more Dispel Magic into this whole bit.
Sure. This is easy, no roll required. You just kind of tweedly-deedly-deedly-deed, and the brick just crumbles like dry clay off, and your shoulder is beneath it.
I'm going to capture a little bit of that brick. Just like put it
It's
in my
kind of
pocket.
raw and like fresh, but it's kind of like that green that when you scratch off of a plant and then, like the plant right beneath it, it's the tendons and the muscles have this like red green type of flavor to it, and before it quickly becomes oxidized and barks up.
It's like aloe vera.
Kind of, yeah.
You gotta scrape? Hang on.
Yeah.
Maeve rolls over in her sleep, in her trance. No, that's not the salad fork. That one's the salad fork.
Tracks.
So kind of like poke at it. How's it feel?
It's tender.
Imagine it feels like when you just take a Band-Aid off you've had on for a really long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. It's still like moist and like
It feels fine. Thank you.
it hasn't really had time to scab over yet, you know?
What were you thinking about?
I was thinking about the Aeon box. I was thinking about the very old, the very long-lived, the very powerful. I was thinking about what kind of knowledge they might have behind their doors, if we can maybe access it somehow.
You know, I have an idea for that. There was a record area that Onkeline had said about. King Anki.
Onkeline is the record. He doesn't forget anything.
No,
so everything that he has.
But he was
Oh,
in
you
the
mean of the
records
Ironbox?
of the
Yes, because he
Ironbox.
has an undercover agent there. He is one
Yes.
person that's there. Yes.
Whenever I read Onkeline's mind, I got a lot of information. It's kind of like in this little box about right here. And I can open that box, and I might be able to figure out how we can get to the Ironbox library, record hall.
That's perfect then.
Okay. This could hurt a lot. Do you mind just watching while I do it?
It's fine. I'm no stranger.
Okay. I'm going to use the feat you gave me and try to recall that information.
You have to remind me because I forget. What was it?
Because I had successfully not brain dead myself and my companions revived me.
Right.
I am able to recall anything the Ankeline recalls.
Yes, but you have to roll for it, right?
But I have to roll for it, and if I roll
Fail,
really
you
low,
could go back to the. You could go brain dead. You could die.
What did
I say? What did I say? 'Cause I don't
What you had said was I lose permanent int.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Your
lose one
intelligence
int. I
score
remember
could be
that.
permanently
Drop.
penaltied.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So you want to take the risk?
Is
I'm
it
taking
is
the
it a
risk.
skill check?
It is a saving throw.
Well, good
Okay.
luck then, bitch.
So, I can't. I can't.
I got it. No resistance.
It is an
What-
intelligence saving.
Intelligence saving throw. So I have a +2 on that, and
And every time you do this, it's cumulative DC, meaning the DC increases every time
every
you
single
try
time.
it.
Okay.
Meaning it starts off like, because
easy.
intelligence damage is huge, right? That's a big thing. So it starts off somewhat easy, just like the DC for reviving somebody. But you can try this whenever you want. You just risk, but every time you try it, the DC goes up.
I'm gonna try it. That's a 19.
That's a success.
Perfect.
That's a +2 to a 21 or
17 on the die.
okay,
Yeah.
19. That's a success. What do you want to recall?
So
Just give me an idea and I'll do my best.
specifically, what I want to recall, what I'm interested in learning is where the records are, how to get to them, what process needs to be going through, and not necessarily the official channel.
Okay,
The easiest way.
In the interest of time, and rather than getting in all the weeds of that, you
Yeah.
know all of that information.
Wonderful.
You know exactly where you need to walk to, what doors you need to pass, who is guarding what are the patrols during the times that you would need to go that in order to do that, what doors are locked, what passages are secret along the way, what time these things are occupied and when they are not, usually, but then again, people are unpredictable, and how often these records are kept up as far as it concerns the knowledge of that specific individual who is there. Now, granted, that specific individual that you are aware of, since you fully recall it, does have a, we'll say like, to make it easier to understand, kind of an intern job at the records keeping place. Okay. So they don't have full access, but during business hours, they're pretty much just like, you belong here, yeah, whatever. It is a young half-elven female woman
Whose name is?
who doesn't have a name
Shit.
because was taken over by Onculine after she died.
Oh.
So, but was fresh enough that some things were recovered, but not all things. One of the things that was lost was her name. And also, Onculine, you realize when you try to select, what was their name? Onculine, you realize you delve into this whole other hole about Onculine's like, I don't always feel comfortable about like giving this name and reanimating their body if it wasn't yada yada, because it's not really them anymore, it's me, and there's some ethics issues there that Onculine is currently struggling with, and you realize that that's a whole bag of worms that you don't want to open up right now, so you just kind of push that out of the way, and you continue down through this. So you know pretty much everything you need to do to try to pull an undercover spy heist as far as it concerns what that person knows, which is extensive, but there's always this place for, there are other people who are higher above you that know more, and the unpredictability of just people in general.
Okay. And
The hardest thing to do that you realize here, because I know you're going to ask another question, the hardest thing to do is gaining access, one, to the Ehrenbach estate, and gaining access to that specific wing of the Ehrenbach estate.
okay.
Because that specific wing of the Ehrenbach estate is also the wing where Lady Masha Ehrenbach and Lord Ehrenbach have their bedchambers,
Quick clarification is added.
which means the security is tight. In fact, they're only 2 rooms away. So, and all the rooms connect through doors. So it's through their bedchambers into their like lounging, personal space with a fireplace and whatever, and then to the study where all the records are.
The sitting room, the standing room, the kneeling room.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of those. They're all kind of in a row. Yeah.
Very Catholic.
Quick clarification. Elven lifespan is
No.
1,000 years?
Elven lifespan has been a
Different kind of
a
kneeling.
very, very well kept and guarded secret in the world, in the continent of CrestVahllen, especially since the elves are so endangered nowadays. The actual elven lifespan was never really able to be fully studied due to the war, and it was one of the big secrets that the elves kept from the Razorfang agreement, which never really became, even the elves that are neutral, they die so
not a
seldom.
secret that they
Yeah.
share.
Yeah, it's not something that they share, and it's also they die so seldomly because they live so long, and there's so few of them left. It's really hard to even get an idea.
Okay.
It is most definitely many centuries. It could be anywhere between 500 and 10,000 or more.
Okay.
You don't know because it's so well kept.
Bass doesn't know?
That's a very good question. I think that Bast is probably used to having several generations of others of himself there. You are well aware that your great-great-great-grandfather is still alive.
Okay.
Doesn't live any fucking where near you. You see him once every 20 years that he comes and gives you, I made this seaweed. All right, bye. And then he goes off to see his other, like, 10,000 progeny or whatever the fuck is going on. Just nothing that really matters as much to you. But they could live for an extremely long time. It's not this, they do die of old age. You do know that. You do know that the elves do die of old age, but normal longevity.
But
You
Maeve
had
knew Lady Masha, and 770 years, she's still here. Would that be weird?
if she was already very, very old, it could raise an eyebrow or two. But the fact that she's Ironbach, people don't even fucking question it. Because she very well could be alive for pushing like 50,000 or more. Like it's like, who knows?
I was just, it was a curiosity.
Way out there.
I was doing the math in my head.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, as far as like the 1,000 years being kind of the thing, it's a far more ambiguous because it's a well-kept secret.
Okay.
Because of the war. They didn't want them to know how long they live because they didn't want them to ever possibly do some type of genophage because they knew how seldom they would give birth. And a lot of different types of warfare and biological warfare were discussed during the war.
okay.
Okay, so that was a lot. You just see Talio kind of like
I don't know why Bass would know that, but whatever.
close his eyes and then just shake up and freeze for about 3 minutes. And then think, okay, that was a lot. I know how to get in to the records. I know where it is. It's 2 doors down from Lord and Lady Aeronbach's bedchambers.
Are you a psychic of some kind?
I kind of am now, yeah. Yeah, a little bit. It's from the information Onkeline had.
All right.
Yeah,
One
Don't-
other,
yeah.
one other thing that's worth noting then is, as far as what I've been able to recall about the Aeronbachs, they have a sort of time, sometimes sort of bends around them, in a sense.
Okay.
They're known for how unbelievably long they live, and they take great pride in that, and so they have that kind of effect on things. So
Do you think that they might be able to get us to the Fame Wars as well?
it's a possibility.
I wonder. Okay. Well, if we want to get into their records, I can get us there with help, but it's going to be very difficult.
You also know, because you're in this person's head, the easiest way to get in there is to be an elf and to be welcomed.
The best way in is
There are a lot of elves that just have free roam in that place. The
Maeve is her
an
best.
the individual that you are inhabiting is a half elf and is kept pretty close eye on and has to do their best to hide that they're not dead.
speaking of.
And
This is-
are restricted to chambers after a certain time.
This is the sleeper agent.
Yes.
Okay.
Which, this is one of those people that could possibly have been disappeared. They're still, well, they're not alive. You don't know.
Yeah.
But that they are, because they are half-elven, specifically restricted to how much movement they have about. They can go the places where they need to go to do their job, and that's it.
So, the full-blooded elves have a lot more reign than the half-blooded ones. I think we can go in and get the records, and if we're sneaky and we're welcomed, but we have to be very smart about this. Ironbox, not meant to be trifled with.
I think Maeve is her best shot, probably.
I think so too. I had something on my mind when I came in here. Besides your shoulder, how are we going to get flying machines?
I have no idea.
Me either.
You do. Elves that are invited are flown up there.
Oh wait, I do have an idea. They have flying machines. The Ironbox could provide.
They don't have
them.
flying machines.
They have.
They have winged
CD.
elves
Not CD.
that ferry people that cannot fly up to it,
There was a name for that.
or that do not have the Sorari.
The Sorari. Maybe
Yeah,
we
the
could. Maybe we could recruit a Sorari into our body.
Just like that.
There are also many elves that just cast spells on themselves and just zoom up there.
Maybe. I don't know. We need that, and we need to get back to the Famous. And from what you had said,
Guests that cannot
be
fly
nice.
are ferried by sorority. That's just, that's just how it
and
works.
the guests that can't fly are ferried by sorority. That's the thought that came across. So I had to get it out.
The
yeah.
armored sorority that you had seen that was looking for you. Remember, if you remember what they were called,
Harriers.
the Harriers. Yes.
I'll take my inspiration.
So it's pretty much get the fuck out of here. Yes, the Harriers, which means that the very well armed militant guards of the Ehrenbachs are the ones that have to do with who gets to there and not. They don't like this place isn't fucking around. They are very wise. They know what they're doing.
So maybe that's something to discuss tomorrow with Maeve then. It's how we get up there welcomed.
Definitely.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Well, have a good night.
You too.
do you head back to your tent?
I walk past Bastion again. Hey, Bastion.
As Bashet's wrapping it up, and he just spots the fourth one, and you see him waving.
So we're probably going to go to the Iron Box, and they seem like our best bet up to the Famous. And I'm a bit overwhelmed, honestly. I'm going to go to bed. Go and
Sounds good. See you in the
pass
morning.
out.
Well, I don't know what time it really is, but you know, when you wake up.
Next iteration.
Okay. Do you head back into the cot tent? Do you head back into the cot tent?
Yes.
And you kept your steed in the tent the whole time?
Yeah, to make sure that my cot wasn't going to be messed with, yes.
Okay. Sure. You hear some coming from inside there
Sable?
as you open the door. And you open the flap and, oh, that's a good kitty. You're a good kitty.
You're weird, but you're the good kind of weird. And then I go and lay down.
That's not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, no. Not surprised.
Right. I feel like I should wear it like a badge. Should I get a badge mean not the good type of weird?
Well, that would make you weirder. Yeah, you really should
I just
actually.
lean
Actually,
into
you
it?
should. Yeah. You know what? I wonder, do I have anything I could give you for a badge? I might be able to give you something. Hold
You
on.
gonna give me something?
Maybe.
I
take a
accept.
Let me take a look.
I can hear the bells already.
Let's see. This was a gift from a high-ranking elf. And I take like
A gift from an elf.
I take a little snip of one of the patches that Maeve had put on my cloak
To make it look bad.
to make it. Yeah, one of these patches.
Sure.
And I hand it to him, and I just say, if you see someone with this like a sewing kit, just ask them to put that on. That is a badge of high rank.
I accept this dowry. We shall be wed tomorrow. Bass, can you please roll me a Constitution? And we're done with that scene. Bass, can you please roll a Constitution saving throw for me, please, during your sleep? When you give supplies to anybody as a gift from a high-ranking elves in a post-apocalyptic society,
So
that is a big gesture.
19.
We have our pet NPC for the day.
You have this lazy eye guy who's gonna just walk around and be like,
It's one of us now.
"What are we doing with hanky panky?"
He's gonna make an honest cat out of you.
He's gonna make it. No, I hate that. I hate that. Oh, good God! All right, hold on. I have to write that down.
Write the timestamp.
Yeah. I have to write that down.
What's his name? Do I get to know his name?
You
before
haven't
I-
asked his name yet. No, we're done with that scene now. You haven't asked his name. You gave him a dowry, and you're engaged already, and you don't even know his name.
Okay. That's cool.
Hello, I love you. Won't you tell me your name? Okay,
19.
I thought you said did bad. Oh, why did you look at me like that then? All right, 19. Okay, you have some shitty ass nightmares. Usually, sometimes you have this nightmare where there's like those two wolves inside of you kind of fighting, but they're like those sea lions kind of creature things. And they're all. You begin to have that dream, and then there's like a mesiosaur, that those like Leoplerodon kind of style things, except they're not. They don't have the long necks. Leoplerodon. That just as made of like pure smoky shadow in the water that breaks through the small tide pool that you're in and just and eats both of the seals, and then just looks at you and spins the head and you just one big purple eye, one red eye that has that after image move of lights that you're looking straight at, that then lunges at you, and you wake up in not a cold sweat, an ice cold, salty breath. Like when salt water is so cold and it becomes that kind of salty ice that is crusted around all of you, and you are cold. You're okay, but you feel thing throbbing in your shoulder as you wake up the next day, and that's
Oh, well, I was going to take over the.
okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, she took
I
over
get-
watch.
Oh, I'm
I get-
sorry. That's right. You
yes.
did watch. I'm so sorry.
I get my
yes.
watch. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine.
However-
I'm slipping mine. Go ahead.
However, I trade places. I go out to watch. Quickly realize there's nothing to watch for. Go back in, grab some of Lynn's clothes out of his bag that need mending, and I just go sit outside. I just start fixing Lynn's clothes, break out my needle and thread, and just.
Okay. Stupid. Okay. You do so.
Awesome. And I'm guessing Sable is still inside the.
Are you trying to fix some of Len's clothes that have been all messed up?
Oh.
Is that
yes.
like this the object? Not trying to make it look tattered, but just
No,
nice
I'm
again?
trying to make them look nicer because they are tattered.
That's very sweet.
And
I think what happens is that near the end of your near the end of your shift, you actually hear whatever noise you would make when you wake up from some sort of night terror. Whether it's a scream or some sort of like or a gasp, or I think there's probably a moment where you expect to breathe water when you wake up and you don't, and you psychosomatically like
Sort of a reverse gargle.
like gargle and like begin to drown in air. Like you begin to suffocate in air for a moment because you're not engaging the part of lungs that should be for air. You're doing it for lungs, and you're like, and psychosomatically making yourself suffocate. And you hear him in the tent doing that.
Bast, I run over and open the tent flap.
You see there's this salty crystal ice, like crusted asymmetrically all over his body, and he is shivering, and he is far more blue than he usually is. His lips are they're usually this kind of this pale or darker blue. They are deep cobalt.
Coral blue number 3.
Do I get my full trance?
Is it 5?
You do. You're fine. Everybody is fine. I think you two are going to be the ones that are up for a bit before anyone else. You have a moment to yourselves if you'd like before we fade out.
Okay. Bast, are you there? Can you see me? Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
I'm just real cold.
Okay.
I don't.
Is
You know how we don't normally dream?
well,
think
I
I
would
just
say
had
I know what you mean, but
A nightmare.
we've been dreaming a lot lately. This past month or so.
I think I just had a nightmare.
Oh. Was it the one where you're going when you're invited to a great occasion and you're naked? That's a bad one.
Not that one.
That tracks so much.
Oh, okay. That was. Well, as long as you are. Do you think you'll be okay?
Am I harmed in any way, or am I just cold?
You passed your saving throw,
Okay.
so you are okay. You,
I
as
mean,
far as
like, from the
mechanically is
cold.
concerned, you are very, very cold, which is extremely odd to you because it does not happen very often. Even the sensation of cold is somewhat fleeting to you. Even when you were in the depths where the Tritons were, like you were cold, but you were never this cold. This is verging on hypothermia cold. And I don't think you've ever been cold enough to where your body involuntarily shivers and you are clattering right now.
You got a blanket or something?
Yes, I do. I run over to my tent. I put Lynn's things. They're folded nicely on top of his pack, and I grab some bit of cloth, a skirt, or something to wrap around Bast.
You touch him?
No, I hand him the article of clothing though.
I'm going to try to get you every time.
He's cold. I'm not gonna touch him.
You have cold hands. Don't touch me.
And then I
Yes.
can prestidigitate the blanket to be warm.
You can. You do so. You don't feel any warmer.
Okay.
You feel like the spell went through, but you don't feel any warmer. The blanket, again, maybe psychosomatically makes you feel a little bit warmer, but
Doesn't actually warm me up any.
yeah, it's
All right.
odd.
I'll sit there and huddle outside the tent.
You scratch your
Wait for
shoulder
everybody
and you
else to
feel that
wake up.
like every part of your body is nearly numb except for that one spot which is throbbing. And you feel it's odd because you do that and then you just move your hand and it's entirely synchronized with your own heartbeat, like a second heart that is beating in the same exact rhythm. And that's where we're going to end our game tonight, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. And as always, stay safe out there. Thank you so much. We love you. Bye.
Don't get eaten by mushrooms.
Don't get eaten. Or do and create those awesome mushroom crystals.